message. We'll find out in a second. I have it on my other screen, so if it goes live,
What
I'll
do I
see
need to do? How do I read the comments? So I need to go on YouTube, don't I?
Yeah, I'll link it to you if you don't have the link.
Yeah, if you could send it to me, then
Will
I
do.
can. Then I can.
I think we are live, though. I think despite the giant error message that said we're not live, we are live. But there's the link.
Thank you.
Everyone, can you
Oh.
see and hear us?
Where is the link? What am I looking at?
I posted it to you on Discord.
I can't see.
Take your time. It's all right.
I can't see. You know, it's not. Oh yeah, it is.
Go
Sorry.
to where it says my name on Discord and click on it.
Yeah. I had to, oh yes.
It's where the chat we're having is.
There we go. Right. So I've just muted. Right. Okay. Got it.
Awesome. Sounds like they can
Okay.
hear us, so that's good.
They can. Yay. Hi, everybody. Let's have a look. Right. So, what is... I can't hear you anymore.
You can't hear me?
You're not talking? Oh, no, it's okay.
I just wasn't saying anything yet.
So, I'm saying hi to everybody, but obviously this is your stream and not mine, so...
I think it's been about a year since we've streamed.
I know. So, are we gonna... What, you gonna do your thing, and then as you're doing your thing or whatever, shall I, like...
Yeah, people can ask questions. They're probably going to ask you questions and not me, and I'll just try my best to work in the background.
Okay, but people, we need to know what your work... That looks so awesome. Okay.
I'll go into details on what I'm about to work on.
Okay, great, because people are asking, I believe, an Armored Arwing. So do you want to start talking about that, and then...
All right, yeah, today I'm going to attempt to model the Armored Arwing from Star Fox 2, which is something I should have done 5 years ago. In 2019, I modeled the other Arwing from Star Fox 2, this one here, the Light Arwing, or the Arwing Interceptor, and then for some reason I just never got around to the Armored Arwing, which is this one here, which is what I'm going to be making today. And that's about it. Oh, I just completely lost the chat. Where is it? Oh, there we go.
There we go. So we're going to watch it. Oh, God, that's mental. That's just mad how you're doing that. Okay, so let's have a look. We're talking about the Switch 2. Yeah. Very expensive piece of kit. Which is just a Switch 1 on steroids, basically.
You got a little bit of a behind-the-scenes look at that.
Yes. Yeah. Be interesting to see what happens over the next few months. Apparently, it's proving quite popular because most retailers have literally sold out. Anyway,
oh, really?
Right? Let's.
Wow.
Yeah, the first drop sold out, so now they're
oh man
working on the second. So it's been healthy, put it that way. So I'm
not surprised, despite everyone kind of freaking out about the price. I knew it was gonna sell out like crazy. It's Nintendo.
And the stock is not as limited as perhaps we might have expected it to be.
Like back when the Wii came out and I couldn't get it for 6 months because it was sold out all the time. Were you working in the whole accessories field back when the Wii came out? I think that was right around the time you switched from Rare to...
I started working for Mad Catz literally not long after that launched. So,
so you might have just missed that whole fiasco.
Yes and no, because that's when I learned about attachment. And I remember we struggled with sales because there wasn't a lot of hardware. And then the way around that was to actually attach to the consoles and the Wiimotes. So I think... that was the beginning of my work smarter, not harder. If you're selling anything in the market, whatever market it is, find something that sells really well and then attach to it. It's an easy sell, basically. But anyway, so let's have a look. What have we got?
All right, I'll go ahead and just get started. You guys ask questions for Estelle or me. and she'll read them and we'll answer them while I get to work.
Okay, can you answer and work at the same time?
Yeah, I can answer and work. I don't know if I can actually read questions though, but it sounds like
No,
you'll
no,
be
no.
doing the reading.
I'll do the reading and then you just comment and yeah. Okay. So someone said Green Rob, thanks for turning up. I want to ask, I'm thankful you answered my question before. Oh shit, sorry. What was your question before? I missed your question. Um okay, someone else. Hey, create a new Hack SNES Star Fox Crystal mod Kando 1-2, please.
I don't know
And
what that is.
we've all said that. Coman said, "What is okay? So what is Kandawanto? So if you can let us know what that is." So what else have we got? Questions. Kawanto, create new character, Crystal Star Fox. No, the hack. Oh, A Fox in Space, Matthew Gafford, episode 3. I think that
Oh, is that
is
what
what
that's from?
I think so.
Is
Apparently.
episode 3 even out yet? I don't think it is.
Wow. Where is Matthew?
I don't
I'd
know,
love to do a
but
stream with
apparently
him.
the webcam is malfunctioning, and I think I know why. So let me fix it.
Oh, okay.
Sorry,
No.
everyone. Let me figure out what's going on with the webcams. It seems like it's the same problem as last time I did this, where the window, if I maximize Maya over the any other window, it just doesn't show the window that Maya's over. So let me figure out how to fix that.
Okay. This is really a boomer stream.
Boomer stream. Yep. I'm
What
a
does that
tech
mean?
boomer.
Oh yeah.
Honestly, when it comes to technology, I'm almost at the level of Estelle. I had trouble finding the go
What?
live. I had trouble finding the go live button to get the stream to start.
Am I level? Is that how bad I am? I am actually an Estelle level. That's how bad you are at IT. You're Estelle bad.
I'm like just a tiny bit above. I barely understand how this technology works, but I think I fixed the webcam problem. I'll keep an eye on it to see if it vanishes again, though.
Okay, okay. So what else have we got? Any consideration for making posters or standees? With regards to which title, posters and things I've been considering a range of merch for the Christelle aspect. If anyone's interested, obviously there's a very fine line, isn't there? And yeah, what I'm thinking of creating is something that is that reflects Christelle. So that is in the pipeline. So you heard it here first.
On that
What?
note, do you want to talk about the new plushie at all?
No, because she's not ready yet, and no
All
one's come
right.
back to me.
We'll keep that under wraps for the time being, then.
We'll keep it under wraps, but there is another one coming. Let's have a look. So you're both peppy when it comes to tech.
Yep.
Yes, slightly charming. Slightly charming. Right. How many different R-wings are there?
Let me see if I can count them all. There's the original Arwing from the first Star Fox. There is the Mark II Arwing from '64. The Mark III Arwing from Assault. There's the Light and the Armored Arwing from Star Fox 2. There is Crystal's Arwing from Command. Falco's Arwing from Command. Slippy's Arwing from Command. And I know I'm forgetting one or two. I think there's probably...
Oh God, there's a lot.
Yeah, there's a lot. Which one am I forgetting?
It'll
So
come to you.
that's 8 so far. I feel like there's one or two more I'm forgetting though. There's at least 8 different R-wings. Yeah. Someone in the
It'll
audience
come
will
to
know
you.
the one I forgot.
Bless you. Okay, put it in the box. So Estelle, should there be a Crystal video game? Yes. if there should, and I need to voice her, what would you think it should be about? Like a prequel to Star Fox Adventures, or just a plain spin-off? Oh, I don't know, actually. Well, it depends, really. I suppose I would probably do. I reckon maybe a prequel would be quite nice, because people are so fascinated and have so many questions that actually maybe that would be an easy thing to do. And also, it just takes the heat off Event Horizon, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Let's do a prequel there.
That would be the best thing to do, in my opinion. Like an official thing.
Yeah, definitely. Estelle, when the game Star Fox Adventure happened, what was your thought of the first meeting of Fox and Crystal? I'm going to be honest with you. I didn't have any thoughts really initially, because I had a job to do. So, and I wasn't even at the time. I was given voice lines, but I wasn't shown a lot of stuff. If that makes sense, because it was all very secretive. So actually, I didn't really think a lot. And I was that crap at the game that I probably didn't even see it in real time. So that I didn't really have any thoughts. But if someone would play that and tag me in it, that would be quite nice to see. I probably have seen it, but it's been a long time. Would be good called to Star Fox Crystal Action RPG on Switch 2. Yes, I think any kind of Star Fox game on Switch 2 I think would be amazing.
We'll see if that actually happens.
We wait. Do either of you think we'll get any Switch 2 ports of Star Fox GameCube games? I don't know. I don't know. There's mention of the old back catalogue, isn't there? But who knows?
Nintendo is very strange when it comes to Star Fox.
Who knows? What else? Will there be
a few questions?
Any merchandise for Star Fox Event Horizon?
Yes, and I'll have news on that really, really, really soon. Actually, funnily enough, one of the people related to that is in the chat. I guess I could show some of that really briefly. I won't go into details though, okay, so I mentioned this on the last stream, but sometime in the next month or so, we're going to actually have a little bit of Patreon-related merchandise for Star Fox Event Horizon, and it's going to be little miniatures of all the different craft you can play as. I got some screenshots here of some of the samples. I think I showed this one on the last stream, but it's probably going to be... Oh, Estelle disappeared. Oh, there she is.
No, it's all right. I've just gone to get some water. Sorry.
No worries. I just thought that was funny. I'm like, oh, Estelle's gone. But, I have a little company making these little miniatures. I have a few more screenshots I can show of. These are all work in progress ones. There's Crystal's Arwing right there. And there's a really cool... There's the packaging, or like prototype packaging that it's going to be in. And then where's the Great Fox one? Is that the Great Fox one? There's the Great Fox one. That one's really cool. So I won't go into details about this. These ones I'm showing here are just like rough prototypes. These aren't like the actual final ones. I'll if I remember correctly, he's actually mailing out the samples to me today, so I'll probably get them sometime in the next week.
Yay!
And then
Exciting.
It's going to be really cool. And when I get those samples, I'll do a live stream showing them and going into details, and I'm pretty excited about it. And it's going to be stuff available for the high-tier patrons and the mid-tier patrons. So yeah, I'll save that for another stream, though. But that's just kind of answers the question that someone asked about merchandise. There's going to be little miniatures of all the different craft in Event Horizon. Yeah,
amazing.
So there's,
exciting
I think,
stuff.
the very, very first prototypes of Crystal's Arwing, the Adventures That was the Arwing, I forgot. The Arwing from Star Fox Adventures, duh. How did I forget that one? When the person asked the question of all the different Arwings, I forgot, like, the coolest one from Adventures.
Love it. Oh, God, look at that. Amazing.
And then there's a little Sharp Claw fighter that that we tested out too. But anyway, that's for a different stream.
Different stream.
Yeah.
Different stream.
Probably in the next week or two.
So they should sell GameCube games on Switch separately. Yes, they should. But unfortunately, that's not how they like to work. Yes. Since Amy Rose, Crystal's competition is getting a big screen debut in Sonic 4, what would you think if Crystal gets on the big screen in a possible Star Fox film? Oh, I think that would be amazing for everyone. Yeah, I think it would be, really exciting. I don't know how realistic that is, but no, I think that would be amazing. Or an animated film or something, I think that would be awesome. Right, let's have a look. Why do you think The Adventures Arwing is the best? And that's Crystal Kingdom that General has just asked that.
Was that directed at me?
I'd imagine so, yes, because you said it was your favourite, didn't you?
To be fair, I do like the Mark III Arwing from Assault a lot, but I think I like the one from Adventures a little bit better because of just how beat up it is. I like how worn out and beat up it is. Whereas the one from Assault is like the complete opposite. It's a brand in that game. It's like a brand new technology. It's like very clean and very sleek and advanced. But I like how the Arwing and Adventures looks like it's held together with freaking tape and bubble gum, and it looks like it's about to fall apart. Same thing with the Great Fox in Adventures too. It looks all beat up and like it's barely holding together. It gives it a lot of character, I think.
A bit rough around the edges.
Yeah.
And a few battles. Russ agrees. The Adventures Arwing is so cool because it's a rundown machine, but still kills a god at the end of the game. Yep, exactly what you said. Am I watching A Fox in Space?
I don't know, are you?
No, but you know what? This is a completely different world to me. So if you guys can send me links or tag me to stuff that I can actually watch, that would be amazing. Because I'm a huge fan of Matthew Gafford because I think he's just so incredibly lovely. And it would be nice.
Voice.
It's just, do you know what? He seems really kind as well. The voice is just incredible, obviously. But yeah, it'd be nice to see what he's involved in, and he's very talented, isn't he? So I'd be interested. Yeah, so please.
I'll link you to all the stuff for sure.
Please, thank you. If you did not see the link, it is Foxing. Oh no, sorry, Crystal. Yes, I do remember that. Then with the saxophone, I do remember that, and I remember Ben Cullum. I remember them telling me to do something quite raunchy. I think was the expression, to try and to make it sound all quite forthcoming.
I think they cut because if I remember right, Crystal doesn't have any lines during that. Oh no, they do use that song at the end of the game too. Actually, never mind.
Okay.
I'm thinking of the first time Fox sees Crystal when she's asleep, and that's the first time the saxophone music plays.
Yeah, when she's in the crystal, yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah, and then it plays again when she's
It plays again at the end of the game, yeah.
Yeah, okay.
And the scene when Fox, your temperature seems to be rising. Are you okay? I'm gonna be just fine.
That's hilarious. Let's have a look. Oh, I've lost these questions. Let's have a look. Don't stop asking them. I'm just trying to keep up my eyesight. I've lost my glasses, so it's wear these grandma ones.
I can never keep up with the questions myself, so it's not just you.
Okay, so the only reason there's no backers is because we can't physically back it yet. Back what? Switch to game online editor, graphics card, quite a few. I think you.
Yeah, back what? The back Event Horizon?
No, I don't know. Are we getting Fox's speedboat Arwing from Command?
Speedboat Arwing from... Which one is that? A speedboat Arwing?
Fox was asked, are we getting Fox's speedboat Arwing from Command? Did you do the Arwing 2 from Command?
If I remember right, the Arwing 2 in Command is just, if I remember right, it's the same Arwing from 64 and 0. Let me double check. I might actually be wrong about that. Star Fox Arwing. Let me take a look at it.
Cycloric Falco's Bullfrog is Slippies, and Cloud Runner is Crystals from Command. Oh, no, sorry.
Actually, yeah, the Arwing in Command does have a few differences, so I would count that as a different Arwing. But I know the Arwing in 64 is also called the Mark II Arwing, so that's a bit confusing. That they both are called the Arwing 2.
Okay, so Codeman said, since there's the whole thing with Arwing figurines, how far away are Sigma figurines?
Ooh.
I'd probably buy one or all of them. Well, that would be amazing, because I reckon I would as well. The Sigma ones are the big thing.
I can't wait to have a little Norrin figure. I kind of want to keep that stuff under wraps right now. I will say that I am officially working with a programmer on that game in the background, kind of silently. I posted a few little things here and there on Twitter. So that's being made. Obviously, my main focus is Star Fox right now, so my mind is really hell-bent on Star Fox at the moment, but yeah, there's plans for Norrin's game going on in the background. There'll definitely be merchandise. I've talked briefly about it with the guy who's doing the merchandise for these little miniatures, but we haven't gone into much detail about it because it's like such a new IP that no one really knows about. But there's plans for that eventually. I'd love to do a Norrin plushie so badly. I want a Norrin plushie. That's all in the pipeline. It's just a matter of time.
All in the pipeline. It's all part of the grand plan. Yes.
It's all part of the plan.
It is. Coda's Kitten 333. It's actually my birthday next week. Well, happy birthday. It's my son's birthday next week as well. So what an awesome week to have a birthday around Easter as well. So have an amazing birthday.
It's my birthday too. No, I'm just kidding.
Oh, yours is in November, isn't it?
Hey, you remembered. Yeah, it is. Yes, it's November.
Okay.
I think your volume cut out there.
Oh. What else? I'd like to see the storyline between Assault and Adventures. Lots of potential there. So we're talking about the old stories.
That's what I'm working on right now. Well, with this model's going to take place during that, and I see Gafford in the chat, by the way.
Is he here?
Yeah, he is.
Oh, Matthew, where are you? How can you see? I can't see him.
He's the most recent person to post. Well, not anymore, but he was when I read it.
Oh, there he is. Happy International Space Day, by the way. Oh, wow. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, it is. Yeah, it is. It is International Space Day, according to the little Windows 10 thing at the bottom. I didn't even notice that. Awesome.
I have no idea. No, I wouldn't even know where to look. I wouldn't know where to look. So what else? Let's have a look. Question for you two. Have you two met each other when doing the fan-made Star Fox project? No.
Do you mean in person?
In person, obviously.
I mean, we've obviously met each other, audibly and visibly, but no, we haven't met in person yet. We tried a few times, but every time it just didn't work out.
Yeah, I need to get to Texas because I gather a lot of you guys are over in Texas.
Yeah, if you go to Texas, I'll drive over there.
Wow. Yeah.
I'll drive right through my favorite Arizona on the way there too.
Oh, love that. Yeah, I need to get to Texas. Should we manifest it? I'm going to manifest it. Manifest it. I'm manifesting a lot recently, like a lot. So, yeah, Texas, Austin would be nice. And, yeah, and I can meet you all. That would be amazing. That would be really nice.
That would be awesome. I think you'll get bigger crowds here in America just by virtue of a bigger population of people.
What? More than the 3 people I have in the UK?
Well, the UK's so tiny. With all due respect to the UK, it's so tiny compared to America.
I know, right? I know it is really. And
It's
there's not that many Crystal fans, though. To be fair, But anyway.
in the UK or in America. I'm sure there's plenty in
Yeah, no,
America.
in America there's loads. There's loads. Those signed copies of the games that I've been doing. A lot have been going to Texas. Like in terms
Well, that's a
of
sign.
the fans, yeah. Honestly, it was like, okay, well, I really need to go to Texas because that's pretty much. I mean, I know Texas is again a very big state, but excuse me, yeah, there's loads of you out there. So
I think there's
yeah.
actually a really big convention going on in Texas right now this weekend. I'm trying to remember the name of it.
Oh, there's a biohacking one going on at the minute, which is probably not what you're referring to, but
No, there's an actual furry. What's it
oh
called? Someone in the
wow,
audience is gonna
really?
know. Yeah, I think it's going on this weekend. One of my voice actors is there right now.
Where's my invitation? Like, honestly. Next year. Right, let's have a look. What else have we got? Hang on. Oh, sorry, I'm trying to figure out. Okay, so question.
Texas Fur Fiesta. That's it. Someone in the audience knew.
Oh, there you go. Oh, that's that Fiesta. That sounds like fun.
Maybe next year we'll get you to that one. And then I can finally go to Fuddruckers again, because they still have them in Texas. It's so American to me.
I love that. Don't change. Don't.
I won't.
Right. Loads of people saying hi. Polly Chi. Jameer White. Okay. Mario Kart lover. I just call each Arwing by the different events they were used during, such as the Lilac Wars model, the Plight of Soria model, Invasion model.
Apparently there's a FurCon going on in Vegas next week, too. Yeah, if you ever end up in Vegas, I'll be there in a heartbeat. I love Vegas.
I quite like it.
Right, I did like Vegas the last time I was there. It's been a while. I don't know how the place has changed since then, but
I don't know. I haven't heard bad things.
I've always loved Vegas.
Jason, do you have any plans for making a level where you play it as a Cornerian forces? Or as the Cornerian forces?
At the moment, every level you play is Fox, so I guess I'm thinking of a moment where you kind of do, so sort of.
Okay.
I don't want to spoil too much on that.
Olichi, you were my favourite VA, and thank you for voicing my childhood crush on our Blue Vexon. Oh, you're welcome.
I'm so grateful. I think I was just thrown into something that actually was quite spectacular. Estelle gonna voice Blue Farah in Aphis, laughing my ass off. What is that?
A
Blue
Fox
Farah.
in Space.
Oh! Well,
I think Gafford's having you voice Crystal for sure.
Is he? Are you? Matt, you still there?
He said, yeah, that's so
He's
funny.
still there.
I think he's still in the audience.
I'm going to be the guest of honor at one in June, but it's in VR. Oh, wow. Oh, God. Yeah, VR. I need to sort that out. I can't. My poor laptop. That's like...
Oh, yeah, I remember your last attempt to go to a VR convention. I remember that.
God, it was about a year ago, and it was terrible. The laptop is still the same laptop.
The coconut laptop.
The coconut laptop. It's like trying to go up, but it's like joining the Tour de France with a balance bike. It's just not going to happen. So,
Oh, man.
That's me.
We'll get you a better laptop, or you need like an actual proper desktop, probably. I mean, there's probably a decent laptop, because you don't do anything really crazy with computers. You could probably get by with just a decent laptop to do VR stuff and streaming and all that.
Yeah, I've got a friend of mine who's happy to build me a tower, but it's really expensive, and I don't know.
I really need to do it, because if I stream more often, people get to see me more often, and then, but anyway, That's another story. But yes, I need to I need to sort that out. Right, Fox in Space 3 almost done? Question mark.
I think that's
Do
directed
have
at Gafford.
Yeah. What else have we got? Is the Landmaster going to be to use more and different versions?
Yes. There are quite a few more Landmaster levels. There's going to be a hover tank version. There's the assault version, and there's all the walkers and mechs that are going to be in the game too. Right after Soria, which I'm almost done with the Soria levels. I only have 2 left, and I'm about a quarter of the way through one of them right now. And in fact, I'll probably have them done by June, and when I'm done, I'm going to do a celebration stream. I haven't got some cider for that celebration stream. It's a brand I've never had before. And you and anyone else big in the Star Fox community is invited onto to that stream if anyone wants to join. You don't have to drink, though, if you don't want to.
That sounds amazing. We need to try and get Steve Malpass.
Oh, yeah, I haven't talked to him at all.
Yeah, I know. Let's see. See if he's open to it. Let's see.
Isn't he, like, really kind of, like, in the shadows right now?
Very aloof, yes. Yes. I'll message him and see if he...
It is kind of funny with, like, the people from Rare. They're either like you or like Kev or Dave, or they're like really out in the public, or they're like Malpass, where they're like a hermit and no one sees them.
Yeah, it depends. Some of them don't necessarily like the spotlight. Yeah, I followed Chris Seaver the other day, and he's another one. I was like, oh, why was I following him? Like, he's huge, but he's like really stealth. So yeah, there's a few.
Good old Conker.
Your little Conker, bless him. Yeah.
I think if I remember right, he voiced Slippy also.
He did. Yes, he did.
The most trollish version of Slippy in the series.
Yeah. It's so true. Yeah, he was very good. I mean, to be fair, they pulled a lot of talent from from the team. That we were very lucky that we created something so amazing with people who weren't necessarily recruited for that. If that makes sense. It was just, that's what I loved about it. It was just like, it was like a family trying to, we need to chip in together, let's all get stuck in and make it happen, sort of thing.
Whereas it wasn't corporate at all.
No, it was like, that's not in my job description, so I'm not going to do it. It's like, oh God. It was literally like, right, who can do what? Right, let's just all do it. Let's make it happen, which is amazing. So everyone was just, made shit happen.
and it shows. Right. Those games from that time are so good. I still remember when I first played GoldenEye.
I think most people do, to be fair.
I think it's the first Rare game I actually ever played was GoldenEye.
Yeah, well, even my other half mentioned it the other day, because obviously there's a 007 game coming out on Switch, isn't there? Switch 2.
Oh, I didn't know that, actually.
Yeah, they've got a James Bond one. I can't doing it. I did make a note of it somewhere. But and when you talk about it, the first thing people get excited about, they're like, "Oh, great! Is it GoldenEye?"
Is it GoldenEye? Actually,
no. But right, it's a shame.
Right around Christmas time, I hadn't seen it in over 20 years. I watched GoldenEye again, and I was just blown away by how well that movie holds up.
But all of the James Bond movies are just, the old ones, were a bit tongue-in-cheek and stuff, but they were just, do you know what? That's a great idea, because I don't generally sit and watch movies on my own. I don't generally sit down and stop at all, but that's something I really enjoy, so I reckon I might just do a marathon.
Oh, you want to do a James Bond, live stream?
What? People watch me just eating shit on
the
sofa. Watching. That's like Gogglebox. Do you guys have that in the States?
What box?
Do you have that?
I'm gonna guess
Gogglebox.
No, we used to have something called Redbox. I don't know if that's the same.
So Gogglebox is basically where you're watching 2 or 3 people sat at home watching certain TV things. You don't see what the program is. You just watch them watching it.
Oh, we just call that live streaming.
Yeah, but it's a TV program, so you've got the mum and the dad and the dog, and then and then they're watching something like, I don't know. I don't know what American show. I don't even watch TV very much, but there's documentaries, or maybe watch the family watching something on Netflix, that's quite controversial, or what, and you just watch them commenting, and yeah, maybe we could.
If you want to do that with James Bond movies, I'd be all for that. I've kind of fallen behind on all the James Bond movies. I wouldn't mind going through some of them, especially the Pierce Brosnan ones.
We can. Oh, you see, I don't really like him.
You what?
He's my least. I don't like him.
Oh, he's your least favorite?
Yeah, my least favorite.
Who is your favorite Bond?
Roger Moore.
Really?
He was yeah, but I think it was because he reminded me of my dad.
Oh, that explains a lot.
As a child, yeah, my dad was similar build and look, and then I think I was too young for Sean Connery, but even then he was quite delightful. So I think Roger Moore, then Sean Connery, and then after Sean Connery, I would probably say David Craig.
Oh, poor Timothy Dalton.
Oh, he was only in one, wasn't he? In his His Majesty's Service.
Yep.
Yeah, he was shit. Yeah, he was just that random. Yeah, he wasn't. Yeah, I know.
I feel so bad for poor Timothy Dalton. Although, if I remember right, that movie, it actually was supposed to be Pierce Brosnan.
Right, because he you could see they're quite similar, aren't they, in terms of Pierce Brosnan was obviously better looking, but yeah, definitely. Yeah, definitely. Those two were my favorite. But anyway, a bit of a segue there.
Dalton was actually in 2. He was in the 2 from the 80s, I think.
Yes.
Yeah. Yes. I've only seen one of them, I think. I don't think I've seen the one from, was it 89? I haven't seen the other one.
Apparently, Timothy Dalton was in 2 films.
Yeah.
Ah.
Actually, I have a slightly embarrassing and funny story, I guess, about Sean Connery. Because I was still relatively young at the time. I'd seen quite a few of the James Bond movies, but actually I didn't know that Sean Connery was one of the James Bonds at the time. And I was in a conversation with friends, and James Bond came up, and I just kind of threw out there that, it'd be I could actually kind of see Sean Connery playing James Bond. That'd be really cool. And, everyone starts laughing, and they're like, dude, he was like one of the first James Bonds. And I'm like, no, he wasn't. And then I'm like, holy crap, he was. And I went back and I watched Dr. No and Goldfinger, and I was kind of just blown away. Like, this actor I thought would have been good as James Bond had been James Bond in tons of movies. And I was just one of those weird moments of my life.
Brilliant. Well, at least you have the right idea to set the right people.
What happened is I'd probably, when I was really young or through osmosis, I subconsciously knew he probably was James Bond just from the culture, but I wasn't conscious of it. I'd probably pick that up somewhere, and I was made conscious of it in that conversation where I embarrassed myself.
Right, what we got? Living Daylights and License to Kill. Yeah, definitely. I think, which one's mine? Which one was the one with Octopussy? When she's got the tattoo of the octopus on her back.
Is that the one with Catherine Schell?
I don't know, but do you know what? Even
which is
then,
guys, which is the one with Catherine Schell? Catherine Schell is probably my second favorite actress after Estelle.
Let's Google her. I've got big boots to fill. Catherine Schell, is that her name?
Catherine Schell. I have a feeling quite a few people in the audience probably don't know who she is, sadly. But
who did she play?
She was in one of the Bond movies, but what I'll always remember her for is Maya from Space 1999. Yeah, super nerdy. She was awesome in Space 1999.
You see, mine was Octopussy, like literally, but she had a tattoo of Octopussy on her back, didn't she? Sure of it. Maud Adams, there you go.
Lord Adams.
Love that. Right, let's have a look. I need someone to make an art piece of Crystal saying
He was shit now because that's too funny. Thanks, Estelle, for the laugh. Oh,
Poor
look, me and
Timothy
my
Dalton.
one-liners, yes. You're playing Star Fox Guard, guys. What does that mean? Hey, Platinum Games creator, do say Crystal not game in Star Fox Zero. Oh, is that a bit
What?
of Spanish in there? I don't know. That didn't make sense. Can you just re-clarify what you were saying then?
Yeah. I'm not sure what was said there.
So Codeman CZ, it would likely, unless the Ice Cream Man wants to make a side story, bad win scenario story, I'm just wondering if there would be a chance for that in the future. A chance of what? Sorry, we're just talking and then missing
I see.
half of the
I see.
okay?
Gafford knows who I'm talking about with Maya. Clearly, he's a man of culture who's seen Space 1999.
I loved Martin Landau in that show. Oh,
Martin
of
Landau is
course.
awesome. He's, I think, the best thing I've seen him in though is Ed Wood. Which, you still haven't seen Ed Wood yet, have you?
What's Ed Wood?
It's a Tim Burton movie with Johnny Depp and Martin Landau. It's so good.
Really?
Yeah.
I do reckon. What film was this guy in? Martin. Oh, Ed Wood.
Ed Wood,
Oh, right.
yeah.
Okay.
You've got to
Oh,
watch
what?
Ed Wood. It's such a good movie. It's about I mean, it's very fictionalized, but it's based off of a real world director who directed some of the worst movies ever made, and he's just trying everything in his power to make his movies. He just wants to make these movies so bad, and things just keep going wrong. And he ends up meeting like his favorite actor ever, who's Bela Lugosi, and it's such a great, funny movie. That was probably my favorite thing I've ever seen Martin Landau in, but he's awesome in Space 1999 also. Space 1999 is a great show. If you can get past all the disco outfits, it's so awesome.
I love disco outfits. There's Sarah Jessica Parker in it as well. Patricia Arquette. Oh, okay. Interesting.
Yeah, Ed Wood is such a good movie.
Where can I watch that then? Let's have a look. I don't get. I'm at that age now where I'm like, I don't get to be on my own ever, and I actually think that checking into a hotel, like a nice boutique hotel, for 24 hours and just going in my pajamas and a dressing gown with loads of shit food and just, the stuff that's really good for your soul, and going in and watching a movie without being interrupted by the dog, without the kids, without the other half, without everything. That sounds amazing. Ed Wood. Where can I watch it?
I don't know if it's streaming anywhere, but I could find it for you.
Let's have a look. Disney Plus.
Ah, no. That's right. A lot of Tim Burton's stuff is in the hands of Disney right now.
What isn't in the hands of Disney?
Everything in the hands of Amazon is not in the hands of Disney, which now James Bond is in the hands of Amazon.
Of course, Jeff Bezos. Right. Let's have a look. I keep missing. Hang on.
I'll send you my copy of Ed Wood. You just mailed me something. I'll mail you Ed Wood when I get a chance. I'll mail you the Angora sweater version.
I won't be able to watch it though, will I? I don't think I haven't got a DVD player.
Oh, you don't? Oh, you're not. You're okay. I'm more of a tech boomer than you. I still got an old DVD player.
No, I don't have a microwave.
You don't have a microwave? What the hell?
No, they're really bad for you.
They are, but everyone has one anyway. I rarely use the microwave, but I still have one.
No, I don't have one.
I use my little toaster oven way more than the microwave, but I'm just kind of... It's kind of funny that you don't even have a microwave.
No. Right. Oh, God, where am I? I might have to work backwards. Let's have a look. Oh, what have I got? Speaking of disco, I like... Oh, God, I can't even pronounce that. Genghis Khan. Oh yeah,
What about Genghis Khan?
yeah. That's apparently Matthew's come through it. I can rent it on YouTube for $5. Okay, I need to have a look at that. I wonder if there will be a kiss scene in Event Horizon. You're gonna have to wait and see.
I'm not gonna spoil anything. I'm not gonna
No, but
spoil
I
it.
am. No. Oh, that's amazing. I don't know. I'm with everything else one because I talk too much. I'm the last one to know anything.
There's gonna be no kiss scene because Crystal talks too much. You heard it from her.
Yes, I talk way too much. Anything in Nintendo's hands is not in Disney. Well, it's all the same thing, isn't it? Universal has an American Tail, Land Before Time, Despicable Me, Super Mario. Yes. Estelle, do you have any Nintendo console, GameCube or anything? I've got a GameCube somewhere gathering dust, probably at my mum's. And I did have a Switch that my daughter binned. Because so they're not getting another one. I think she binned it because it was stuck to the windowsill. Please don't ask me why it was stuck to the windowsill. Absolutely don't know why. So anyway, yeah. She doesn't own an air fryer, chat. I do own an air fryer, which is probably just as bad as a microwave, but I don't own a microwave. What else have we got?
I'm gonna make that a thing in Star Fox when Crystal is introduced to a microwave. She thinks it's like evil or something. She's like
Yes.
she's like terrified of it. She's like,
Yes.
what kind of sorcery is this?
Totally. Bad for you. Bad for you. Or get her to wear one of those tinfoil hats.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Brilliant.
Oh, that's gonna be awesome.
What else? Sorry, T-Boo said he's lost. I am regularly, so I think the whole chat's confusing.
And so it's not just me then. I have the same problem when I'm trying to read all the questions. Like it keeps going by, and then I lose some of the questions, and I have to scroll back, and then I just lose everything.
Sign my GameCube. Does it? No one would want.
Is that a euphemism?
Okay. I missed that one, but yes, well done for bringing up the rear. You should sign your GameCube. Oh, okay. I can dig one out and sign it. Yes. Yes. I could do that, couldn't I? Oh, that's the next thing I'm going to do. I'm going to go and buy a load of GameCubes and sign them.
That'll cost a fortune to ship, though.
100%. Yes. Oh, Stella, I have a weird way I found. Oh, found me? Okay, I'm glad you have. Put crystal stickers all over your GameCube. Yeah, that's something else I might need. Doing some crystal stickers. That might be a nice thing.
Yeah, they never made a crystal-themed GameCube. That would have been cool.
Very cool.
Just like a blue and white GameCube with some gold trim.
The gold trim. I do like the idea of gold. You know, I like a bit of gold. What else? I myself have a lot of playing Mario Kart games. Yes, and your name is Mario Kart Lover, so I can totally understand that you're the biggest fan. I love that. The one and only Sam. So good to pronounce your name wrong. Chione. Love you all and your passion. Gotta go treat my body nicely. Just seeing you, Estelle, has reminded me of meditation. Ah, amazing. I hope everyone stays on a good track. Meditation is, honestly, and if I can be a reminder, love that. Honestly, it's so good for you. So have you two seen any footage of the dinosaur video game on YouTube? If you two did, what's your thoughts?
If the what?
No.
Footage of
Have you
what?
seen- Of the Restored Dinosaur Planet video game. Ooh, send the link.
Oh, I have, yeah.
Oh.
I actually use it as a reference for working on all of the Dinosaur Planet levels all the time.
Oh, perfect. Perfect. My dad and uncle don't even use microwave. Totally overrated. Totally. Absolutely. My dad and uncle, yeah, okay, I've just read. Oh my God, yes, please. When it's she does microwave, I would have
I think
said
your
that's
mic
very
is cutting out. At
foreboding.
least it is on my end.
Oh, can you hear me? Is that better?
I think
Can you hear
it was
me?
being, the volume was fine. I think it was just being choppy for a second there. It's probably my internet connection, but
No, do you know what it is? It's probably that everyone in the house. You know one of those moments where it's like, oh, I only need about an hour of quiet. That okay? That is just a red flag for let's make as much fucking noise as possible during that hour. That's code for my family members, including the dog, including the partner, including the friend, the son's friends, the son, like literally. That's so. I think you probably my microphone's cut out because it's hearing all that lot making
aw.
stupid noise out there. So what have we got? Yes. Hello, guys. I recently survived a siege last Monday. Oh, I'm really sorry to hear that. I hope you feel better. I hope you're on the mend now. Um,
Yeah,
yeah, do some
yikes, wow.
meditation. That'll help you. Yeah, I'm really sorry to hear that, but you can get better from that. Estelle, your microphone keeps cutting out. Sorry.
Apparently I beat them to the
Uh,
punch with that one.
you did. Sorry. Hopefully it's all right now. Estelle, your Arwing ready to cockpit first-person Star Fox SNES N64 version. There's no punctuation in that. Sorry.
Hey, Jero's in the
Estelle.
chat. Hey, Jero.
Oh, hey. Hello. You can be sure the Switch 2 is next line to add to my console collection. My Switch is starting to fall apart anyway. I think I'm going to run a competition as well based on that, you know. I am going to get a Venom Switch universal case. It's got a 9H protective screen protector for the Switch 2. I'm going to sign it and I'm going to run a competition. And whoever wins
Nice.
will get it. So I'm going to do that soon. I think I'll do it once the Switch is probably a week before, probably end of May, really. So yeah, look out for that. Jason, can you remind me I've said that?
I'll remind you.
Oh yeah, I did say that.
I'll remind it when it's your bedtime too.
I made all these empty promises. No, I'm going to do that. I'm going to do that. Okay, what else? What have we got? What have we got? Hang on. Oh, sorry. Oh no, how do I get back up? All right, let's have a look. Oh no. Okay. So, I wanted to ask, I got 2 copies of Star Fox Adventures because one didn't have a manual. Can I send one in a PO box to get it signed? Or can't do that? Oh, DM me with that. Yes, just DM me about that. I don't actually have a PO box. I get all my stuff sent to Venom office because I'm a cheapskate. Right. Coders Kitten 333. It actually was through Darkwit, if you don't mind me saying that. Oh, what was that? You'll have to remind us what you did through Darkwit, who is amazing. Also, very good sound specialist and very good at all the hypnosis and the ASMR stuff. I did that video with him, didn't I, that time, which was really
I
enjoyed
think
doing
that's
that.
what they're referring to.
The meditation.
Yeah, I
Yes,
think they're
of
saying
course.
that's how they unless I'm
Yes,
misunderstanding, I think that's what they're saying they found you through.
yes, that's it. Thank you. It's like having a live stream with your grandmother, isn't it? She's not quite all there. Right. Let's have a look.
I'm not all here, so I don't know, I guess I'm senile too.
Okay, so maybe we're just a whole then, aren't we? Both of us are slightly not there. Right. Let's have a look. Jason, have you been having writer's block with Event Horizon Story? Have you been having writer's block?
I wouldn't say writer's block, although about 2 months ago I realized I had a really, really terrible plot hole that I had to fix. Thankfully, none of the lines had been recorded for that part, so I had to actually go back and redo something. And I was stuck for a few days trying to fix that. But as far as like actual writer's block, I don't think I've ever had writer's block.
Okay, well that's good. That's no resistance there. Models taking shape. This is fun to see. I've tried 3D so many times, but I can never quite seem to get comfortable with modeling.
I think I'm making more progress on this model than the last time I streamed, where, yeah, I was just too distracted, like, trying to read all the questions in the chat that I got, like, nothing done. I think I'm making more progress this time on this.
I love it. Nicholas says, I'm still grieving Amadou Bagayoko with that tragic art of Jamie, Crystal, and Fox McCloud all in tears. Not quite sure. What is that? What piece was that? 34 says the question I had was, will there be a possibility to play the same missions from the enemy's side?
If I finish the game and people want more, maybe I could do something like that.
Ah.
At the moment, it's pretty much all just, it's all pretty much just from Fox's perspective. And the Star Fox team.
That's all we really want, really, isn't it? I don't know. Unless
seems like someone's interested in seeing it from the enemy's perspective, from Venom's perspective.
I know. Just like, okay. Nintendo still send you royalty checks? No.
If only.
No. The Dark Wit audio has a permanent place on my phone. It's so peaceful to listen to after a hard day at work, and wish there could be more Crystal ASMR like it. Oh wow, that's amazing.
There's a bit on the Patreon.
So on the Patreon, there are some meditations. In fact, there's another one that grounding one that's on my list of other things to do as well as reading the Divine Laws of Prosperity as well. So I'm trying to. Never seems to be enough hours in the day. I know that's.
I can relate to that.
A belief and a statement. It's almost like I've got so much to do, you know. So there is a list of things that I really want to be able to put together. So yeah, that's the plan. Really, I think ideally I want to be able to create a package for people that can keep reusing and reusing, and as they reuse and reuse, they get and feel better and better. Does that make sense? I just need to figure out how it all looks, and also magic an extra 24 hours a day out of my ass. But yeah, it's a work in progress. Right, so
I'd love an extra 24 hours a day.
I just love an extra 24 a week. That would just, yeah.
I'm just keeping an eye on the time as well, because I nearly forgot to go and pick my daughter up from work the other day. And I was like, okay, Mother of the Year award goes to me. Okay, let's have a look. Oh yes, someone's saying seeing how the enemies are getting their butts kicked. That's a good shout. Right, so what? Let's have a look. Okay, you made quite a few original levels in Event Horizon with the aspect of playing other factions. What happened to that?
I realized the scope of that game was way too big, and I kind of reeled myself in.
Yes. Okay. Well, that must have been ginormous then.
Yeah.
For you to reel yourself in to be at this point. A Star Wolf expansion would be pretty cool, apparently.
That's always a possible idea, because Star Wolf are kind of anti-heroes in a way. At least Wolf in particular is.
I had a thought, Shiny Zera Aura. I had a thought, what if after a few years when the full game is released, there's later free downloadable content updates that allow the player to fly starfighters from other franchises like Star Wars or Halo? I think I'd like to say that at some point Chasen will start working for money.
Yeah.
So
I never say never, but yeah, when I finish Event Horizon, I'm pretty much done with the fan games, and I'm going all in on my own stuff, because I am not getting younger.
No, and and it's fair. The work that you're putting in, is all very a labour of love. We need to kind of, I know life's not all about money or anything like that, but we do need to live, and time is worth something tangibly, and yeah.
But even outside of the money, I just like to do something that's completely my own. Because I don't own Star Fox. I can only do so much with Star Fox.
Oh, you're doing a lot now.
Yeah. But there's certain things I can't do in Star Fox that I could do in my own. I'm not even talking about the legality of all. I can't. I mean, I say I can't kill certain characters, but I actually have in Star Fox. But I can't kill Slippy. People would just be, they would, even if I could think of a really good character moment to have, Slippy die, people would just be really upset I couldn't do that. Whereas in my own thing, I could do anything I want with any of the characters because it's my own thing.
Yeah.
I know I say that and I killed poor Farah, but...
Oh, is that a Is that a spoiler, or is that?
No, it's not a spoiler. It's already happened in the released version.
Oh, I'm disappointed. Right, let's have a look. Okay. Estelle, do you see in Crystal marries Panther, Carosa, and Commander? No, I'm blocking that out. No one likes him, do they? No one.
I kind of like Panther a little bit. Just a little bit. Specifically his voice.
Okay, alright then.
I guess he's not really a nice, as a person, he's not really that pleasant, but he's got a really nice voice.
Oh, I'll have to listen to it again. I'll have to see what you mean. Shinies Aurora, I had a few years, all games released. Oh no, I've just read that out. Sorry.
What?
I've just read the same about the free download.
I think your mic cut out, so no one could hear what you said anyway, or at least I didn't hear what you said.
Sorry. I just read that before. Hey, Ice Cream, did you ever think of trying to Hyrule TW again, only with a new engine that has magic and monsters in it? It's amazing what you did with limitations, but imagine without them.
I actually did do that. I used the Zero AD engine. Look up Hyrule Conquest. You're gonna shit a brick when you look at Hyrule Conquest.
Okay.
Yeah, that's the game I worked on before the Star Fox one. That was before I met you.
Ah, okay. That's the one where you worked. Was that your job?
No, that was another fan game I made.
Okay.
The real games in air quotes that I worked on for money are from over a decade ago now.
Oh wow. Okay, the amount of work you put in, it's like you're 100. It's like, I've been 10 years doing this, 10 years doing this, 10 years doing this.
I'm starting to feel like I'm 100. I feel like
yeah.
I'm not even 40 yet, but I'm losing energy and I'm feeling old now.
Well, you don't look it. You don't look it. Keep going.
I'm gonna keep
Silver
going.
Fox says, keep going. Keep going. That's my tagline. I'm going to get that tattoo somewhere. Keep going. Just keep going. Silver Fox 1232. I'd be down for sci-fi ambience ASMR. I'd be totally down to doing some more. Estelle, I Twitter messaged you a comic from Luma. It's safe. Yes, and do you know what? I have done. I don't know whether it's part 1 and part 2. I need to share this. I think he sent it to me. So he and I worked on a piece, which is amazing. It's come out amazing. If you haven't seen it, go check it out. It's Luma on Twitter, and he's worked on a comic. There's 3 parts, and the second and third part, he asked me for a bit of inspiration. So I just wrote some lines. And basically, the comic is, I need to save that, and I really need to share it because it's really important for me, because this is getting quite not philosophical and deep or anything like that, completely away of what before, but it's about inner child work. So it's Crystal actually talking to a smaller version of herself. And if you see the comic, it looks like she's a little girl. So, and she's talking to her, and she's actually talking to her younger self, giving her exactly what she needed at that time as a small child. And it's really important for me to relay that to everybody so that they can actually relate and do the same to their own younger selves. So he's uploaded part 1 and he's uploaded part 2 as well. And it's all about, you're safe, you're loved. I'll be that person that you needed when you were 4, 5, 6, whatever, and it's just a perfect example of actually Crystal looking after a smaller, very childlike Crystal version and giving her all that support and love. And then part 3 will be coming up as well. And that's a really cute part of the part 3. But anyway, you have to look at it and you have to see it. And I'm really proud of what he's done and sort of how inspired he's been just from a few lines that I'd basically just suggested. I gave him the brief, i.e. these are the lines, this is what the situation, go off and sort of create something. And if you have a look at it, he's basically pretty spot on with it, which is lovely. So I will share it. And
it's on your Twitter.
Did I repost it? Is it part 1 and 2?
Yes, you've already reposted part 1 and part 2.
So it's on my Twitter. Go and have a look. I don't even remember. Do you know what? It's awful. I might start drinking again, right? Because
you might what?
I might start drinking again because I do stuff.
Nah.
And before I was like, oh, it's because I've had a drink. I couldn't remember. And I've stopped drinking. I still can't remember shit. So it's just very weird. Anyway, so just go and have a look. Have a look at my profile. Go and get my algorithm up. Go and see my profile and go and have a look at this cartoon. It's lovely. What else? Like being on the bridge of the Great Fox or a Venom vessel. Oh, yeah. Okay. For the Twitter, the ASMR, possibly. I'll have to speak to Darkwit to see if he can, because obviously it takes a lot of time, as does creating a game. Watching Jason do that wicked magic. Right, speaking of plot holes, how does Star Fox shooting down Star Wolf help the scientists disarm the bomb at the Fishina? Oh god, where's that question gone now?
Let me see if I can find it.
Oh,
Speaking of plot holes, I found it. Speaking of plot holes, how does Star Fox shooting down Star Wolf help the scientists disarm the bomb at the Fishina base? I'm trying to remember what exactly happened in that level. So that's when you go out into the ice field, they find the crashed ship, and then you get the scientists back, and then Star Wolf attacks, and then you stop Star Wolf, and then they disarm the bomb in the base. They just disarm the bomb in the base. I don't know if it actually helps them. Does that answer the question? I'm not sure if shooting down Star Wolf actually helps them disarm the bomb, because Star Wolf is outside of the base fighting the Star Fox team while the scientists are inside. Oh no, I remember. Okay, it does actually affect what's going on in the base. It's because the Venom troop ships, they stop dropping off troops in the base when Star Wolf is shot down, and they start to retreat. So they're not getting any more reinforcements from Venom. Not the Venom you work for, the other Venom.
Yeah, no. I love this. Right, let's have a look. What else have we got? I'm just looking at the timer. I might have to go soon.
No worries.
Let's have a look. Oh, I can't.
Are you lost on the questions? Yeah, it's not just me.
I can't scroll up and down. Right, I'll do one last question. So when the scientists stall, then defuse the bomb. If you don't, bomb blows up. That's not a question. Okay, sorry.
I think I answered that. If I didn't answer, he'll let me know.
Yes, that's it. As far as I'm aware, there's no more questions. I am going to make a move and go.
Alrighty. Yeah, I think I
Thank
think
you
you've been going
so
for an
much
hour.
for having me. Yeah, I'm gonna go and have some dinner and
Awesome.
get into bed.
It was awesome having you join the stream for an hour. I'll try and go for another hour, but I'll probably only make it a half hour.
Thank you for having me again.
Let me get Discord open so that I don't mess the stream up when you leave.
Well, it's all right. I just need to hang up. That's all, isn't it? That's
Oh,
all. Just
I
hang
think
up
so.
and then- Okay, so thank you, everyone. Sending you lots of love.
All right, you have a
And
good
I
one,
will,
Estelle.
Yes, and I will speak to you soon. And if someone's messaged me about one of the assigned games, I will get back to you, I promise. Yes, sending you all lots of love. Thank you. And I'll speak to you later. Thank you for having me.
Bye-bye. Have a good night. All right, let's make sure the stream didn't completely implode. Now I know the call is going to hang up, so the webcam thing's going to mess up. So let me fix that really quick. So let me go to video capture device. Where is the video capture device? Yes. Oh, great. It's not picking up my webcam. Let's try making a new one. There we go. Okay. Alrighty, everyone. I'll try and, now that she's gone, though, and I don't have someone answering the questions, I'm probably going to get distracted by the chat and not get anything done. But I'm going to try. I'd say I have about half of the Arwing kind of boxed out here. The cockpit is looking the most complete. But anyway, let me look at the chat. Hopefully you guys had some fun hearing back from Estelle. Her and I should probably stream more often, but we both get so busy that we only stream like once a year now. I think last year we streamed twice. And then it's been about a year since the last time I streamed with her. But let me take a look at the chat, because I haven't really looked at the chat much until now. Everyone's saying their goodbyes. Don't know about the time zone in the UK. Yeah, it's pretty late in the UK right now, and it's basically lunchtime here, but I ate a pretty late breakfast, so I'm pretty full. Let's see. Don't forget about Yuri Gagarin on this day. Yeah, it's International Space Day. I think it was Gafford, of all people, who reminded me of that. I didn't even realize it was that day until he pointed it out. And of course, right after he pointed it out, I see the little thing at the bottom of the Windows 10 bar thing where it says, oh, it's International Space Day. Probably helps. This is a relatively simple pixel model. Yeah, I have I would say, quite a bit of freedom with what I can do with this design. Because, I mean, the image up here, I mean, there isn't an official colored version. I think another artist colored it in, but the sketch was the concept art, like the official concept art for the Armored Arwing. So I guess if I go by the concept art, I'm a little more limited. But on the sprite, I have quite a bit of freedom of interpretation, which is something I always like about sprite games. Is you can kind of interpret them in your own way. It's why I'm always kind of dumbfounded when like a company will remake an old like sprite game in 3D, and then the style of the 3D is absolutely nothing like how I imagined the game when I first played it. A great example is A Link to the Past, when they and Link's Awakening for that matter too. When they remade those in 3D, like they looked absolutely nothing at all like how my brain pictured the sprites in the original game. Because, you know, with the sprites, there's a bit of room for imagination, you know, to kind of fill in the blanks. It's one really cool thing about sprites. But so with this particular design, and it was the same thing with the Interceptor Arwing, I was able to kind of add a lot of my own touches to it, I think. Yeah, I really like how the Interceptor turned out. Although I kind of want to change the G diffusers on the top, because the G diffusers on the top, they're kind of designed to be like an in between of the design from 64 and Assault, but I think I want to keep them closer to 64's design, although it's kind of interesting looking at the Star Fox 2 G diffusers. They actually look pretty similar to the design from Zero, so that's kind of interesting. I wonder if when they redesigned the Arwing in Zero, if they took inspiration from the Star Fox 2 design there, but I don't know, I'll worry about that later. I'm trying to think. I'm trying to think of what's going on down here on the bottom. There's like this really dark shaded blue thing on the bottom. And I'm not sure what exactly that's supposed to be. So I might just make it like a missile bay or something. That might be where all the missiles fire out of, or the secondary weapons. I actually, again, I'm not sure, but I think this little thing here below the cockpit might actually it might be a gun port, but it's kind of a weird place to put a gun port. I didn't make it a gun port when I modeled it. I was gonna put the gun ports right around here, but this blue thing on the bottom I might turn into something like a missile bay. Let's see what else people are saying. Imagine if they were made Galactic Battlegrounds in 3. Do you mean the Star Wars Galactic Battlegrounds game? It's not Galactic Battlegrounds, but I do know there's 2 completely separate Star Wars RTS games in development right now. One of them, I can't remember the company. I'm having a total brain fire. There's 2 completely independent, 2 separate Star Wars RTSs in development right now, and there's also rumors that Creative Assembly is making a Star Wars Total War game. So there might be 3 Star Wars RTS games being made right now, which is really weird. So you might kind of get a sort of remake of Galactic Battlegrounds depending on what they do. I don't know. But I did actually work on a really, really big mod for the Star Wars Galactic Battlegrounds game. I made a bunch of sprites for the Expanding Fronts mod. Go check that out. It's a really cool mod. They're still adding stuff to it, even though I don't really work on it anymore because I just don't have time. But I did a lot of the animated sprites for that back in like 2018, 2019, and 2020 was the last time I really did stuff for it. I animated a bunch of the wild animals in that too. Oh, yeah. It's also your pure insanity. I talked to you on Discord. You're in the patron Discord. Yeah, I did a bunch of work on Expanded Fronts, so that's awesome that you play it. I did a lot of I did all the Geonosian animations for all of the Geonosian troopers. I did all of the walkers for the First Order, and the giant walkers for the Imperial Remnant, and the Gladiator droid. That was a lot of fun to animate for Black Sun. The Gladiator droid is so cool in that mod. It's probably my favorite unit that they've made in that mod for Black Sun. I like how the Gladiator droid, it falls apart, and then the body, like the body keeps going around with the flamethrowers, and then the head breaks off when you destroy the body. That's such a cool unit. Oh, apparently I've already told you about it before. Alright, I've told you about it before. I'm doing an Estelle. Let's see. Bonchitis Gaming says the round thing near the cockpit should be a refueling port, kind of like the fuel boom some fighter jets have. Just an odd place for it if it is one. Yeah, I'm not sure what that's supposed to be. I don't know. I haven't really decided what exactly it is. Some kind of sensor maybe, although normally sensors, I mean, when you're in space, you know, they don't really use radar in space, but normally on real world craft, the sensors, the sonar or the radar is usually in the front, but I don't know. This might be some kind of omnidirectional detection thing. I don't know. There's probably a really detailed diagram of what every part of this craft is somewhere, like with all the Star Trek technical manuals. I know there is one of the original Arwing, but yeah. So on the concept art, the little thing there, it looks like they're just two little tiny, like, kind of like dorsal foils, so I don't know what they're supposed to be, because those are really small. I don't really think they would affect, at least in an atmosphere, I don't think they'd affect the craft that much, because they're so tiny, but I made it like an actual, like, three-dimensional kind of, cylinder thing based on the sprite. That goes to show that just looking at the sprite and then looking at their actual 3D concept art, like, there's so much room for interpretation. It's crazy. I never would have in a million years guessed that this little tiny bit on the sprite is just two little flat, like, dorsal fins. I interpreted it as like a little cylindrical thing, so I don't know. Let's see. Crystal Kingdom General says Liladian spacecraft don't use fuel except in command, but that's different. And adventures, but the Arwing was in pretty bad shape. Yeah, I think it's generally a safe bet that vehicles use some kind of fuel, unless specifically said otherwise. And knowing me, it's been said in 64 that they don't use fuel. I don't remember fuel ever being mentioned in 64 or Assault, but yeah, the Arwing uses fuel in Adventures, or at least it has the fuel cells, and they do use fuel in Event Horizon because you also get the fuel cells too. But and yeah, in Command they used fuel also, I think, if I remember right. But do they not use fuel in 64? Is there somewhere in 64 that says they don't use fuel? Because I don't remember off the top of my head. Probably says it in the Nintendo Power Guide or something. That begs the question, if they have a craft that doesn't require any fuel at all, why do they go back to using fuel later on? Let's see. See, in reference to the twin mini dorsal fins, radio comms, antenna maybe. So, yeah, actually, that's probably what I should make this. Whether they're fins or not, it should be some, like, kind of communication, some kind of communication receiver and transmitter or something. Maybe I will just make it two little fins, or maybe just much flatter. I don't know, I like the idea of it being some kind of cylinder thing for some reason, just because I've always seen it that way. See, I can't recall fuel ever being mentioned in 64. Yeah, I don't remember it ever being mentioned. I don't ever remember it being said that they don't use fuel, though, so I don't know. I mean, even if something's like solar powered, it's still technically, I mean, I guess you can debate semantics. It's still technically a type of fuel. It requires energy of some sort. The question is, like, is it, what kind of energy is it? Or is it like solar or something like cold fusion? It's a kind of, it's not infinite, but it's virtually infinite based on something like a fossil fuel, which is like a very limited supply, but relatively speaking. Sorry, my brain is completely collapsing already, so if I sound like I'm babbling, I'm sorry. I did go to sleep pretty early, but I was up really, really early today. It's the first time I've had, like, an early morning breakfast in almost 2 years now, because I was up so early. I was up before the sun came up, I'll put it that way. So I'm really tired. There was one in Command where he collected fuel cells to gain a whopping 25 seconds. Yeah, I didn't really like that mechanic in Command where you had a limited time to finish those little levels. Command had a few problems that they needed to work out. See, Cornerian spacecraft use G diffusers for power. It's practically unlimited in range and power. Need address. Do you, Mr. Y-Wing guy, I think you, I mean, I'll give it to you again. I think it's probably buried in our, 2 or 3 weeks of text, but I gave you the address like 2 or 3 weeks ago. But let me go send it to you right now really quick so I can get those samples from you. Let me just find you on Discord. Where the hell did Discord go? There it is. Let's see. I almost started narrating my address. I don't really want to dox myself, although it's probably pretty easy to find out where I am just based on random things I've said. But there's a shipping address, Mr. Y-Wing. Let's see, if you were... I just saw someone mentioning about abusing the barrel roll, but the comment disappeared and zoomed up on me. Where was it? Someone said something about abusing a barrel... Oh, I found it. If you were good at abusing the barrel roll in command, that timer stopped being a problem. Yeah, wasn't there... I'm pretty sure there was a few... The bosses, you had to use a barrel roll to actually destroy them, so I just got in a habit of always doing barrel rolls. No, Y-Wing guy, I posted the address again. And hopefully those will get here sometime in the next week, and I'll do another stream showing all of those little samples that you sent. And I'll go into some details about the little miniatures. And one of the first ones is going to actually be this model I'm making once I finish it. It's not going to be in the first series, but the Armored Arwing's definitely near the top of the list. So, but yeah, I'm trying to think of where I should go to next with this. I'm thinking for the wings. Originally, I was just going to copy the wings I did for the Interceptor, but if you look on the sprite, the wings look nothing like in the concept art. So I actually think I'm going to do different wings. They both have these little, these kind of little segmented, I don't know what you'd call it, kind of arm grapple things. I think it's to transform the wings into the legs when they go into walker mode, but I think I'll keep those, so I'll probably just copy them over from the Interceptor. But for the wings, I think I'm going to make them more smooth like in the sprite here. And also looks like there's some kind of covering over the gears of the segmented arm thing that I'll probably add to it. So this part here probably won't be exposed on the Armored Arwing, which fits with the theme of it. It's armored, so it makes sense it would probably have some kind of armor over this Jeez, wow, I'm really losing it. the segmented arm thing here. Which I'll probably just copy that over. The arm part. Yeah, I'll go ahead and copy that over to the Armored Arwing. And I'll just save some time by reusing that. One of my rules for modeling is recycle anything you possibly can to save time. Because I'm always running low on time, and this will probably save me about 15 minutes remodeling this arm thing for the Armored Arwing. Let me get rid of that, because I am going to do the wings different. And let's line that up to about there. Let me get this out of the way so I can... Yeah, it's lined up almost perfectly. And then, yeah, the little pylon that holds the G diffusers right there. Let's move it over a little bit. And the concept art, it's a little bit confusing where these arms actually connect to the hull. It does... Okay, no, actually, I can see where it is. It is... Yeah, it's right about... Yeah, I need to actually bring this in a little bit. It's too long. It's right about there. And then it's on the top, it looks like. So let's lower that a little bit. Okay, that's much deeper and not as shallow as I had it. So yeah, it's like that. Oh, okay. I think I realize what this triangle thing on the bottom is. It's just the top part just shadowed. It's sprite art is so funny like that. Yeah, this dark blue thing under here, it's just the mirror of the top, but in shadow. It's not like a completely separate thing like I thought it was. That just goes to show like how you can Yeah, how you can interpret sprite art in so many different ways. And this is also not as shallow as I had it, so let me scale it vertically a bit. Yeah, about that. See, I want... Let me see. Yeah, okay. I need to change it a little bit. So let me lower that to there. That's okay. I need to bring this out because I'm not sure. Okay, I see what's going on. I'm gonna, cause in the sprite, this front part, the bow of the ship or the nose, it kind of like bends up, but I made it so it kind of arcs down. I think I'm gonna keep it so that it arcs down like this. I just think that looks better aesthetically for personal reasons, I guess. I don't know. So no, maybe I'll, you know what? No, I'll have it bend up like the original. Feeling a little more like honoring the original sprite and design as much as I can. Although knowing my luck, yeah, in the actual 3D art here, it bends down. It doesn't bend up. So go figure. In the sprite, it bends up, and in the art, it bends down. So whatever. I'm going to have it bend up like in the sprite. And then I'll kind of fix that there and make the topology a little nicer. So it's not all bending back. And then I'll bend that up a bit more. How did you guys like the stream with Estelle while I modeled it? You guys think it went well? Because if it went well, we'll definitely do it again. Because I actually think I was able to... Ironically enough, I think I was less distracted just kind of being able to work on the thing in the background while she looked at the questions. And I could kind of just answer the questions as she read them out, whereas when I don't really have like a sidekick in the chat, I kind of have to stop what I'm doing to look at the chat. And I'm going to look at the chat actually. See, wasn't the Interceptor Arwing lightly armored? Let me double check. I mean, it might have been lightly armored, unless you mean the segmented arm part on the side, but I don't think it was. But it's been 5 years since I modeled that model, so maybe it wasn't. Well, in the sprite, it actually looks like the whole arm is completely white instead of gray, so I'm actually not sure. Whereas the Armored Arwing, like the bottom part is white and the top is gray. I actually suspect in the I think in both of them, neither of them are supposed to be armored. I think it's just kind of like a weird color thing going on, as happened often with SNES games. You know, the greatest example is Pink Link. I actually think in the sprite, and you see it in the artwork too, the arms are not armored in either of the concept arts, but I think because the Armored Arwing's theme is having armor, and because it kind of looks like in the sprite that it might have armor, that I'm going to put a bit of armor over the segmented arm there, so yeah. Actually, I don't, I'm going to make this a bit more shallow. I don't know, just a little bit more. I'll just raise the wing up a little bit. Again, it's a sprite. It doesn't need to perfectly match. And it's hard to tell how deep the hole is on the 3D art anyway, because there's no orthogonals of it. Even on the sprite, I think, yeah, it is actually it is a perfect orthogonal, but it almost, even the sprite, it almost looks like it's looking at it from above, but it's actually not. It is looking at it from an orthogonal from the side. And it's just a weird kind of trick of the art style for that sprite, I guess. Actually, I feel like that's probably a bit too wide. So let's lower that a little bit. Yeah, I'll probably have it go in there. Back a little bit. Actually, I might tweak the design of this arm a little bit. So I might not just copy the arm over from the Interceptor. I might actually do something a little different. I'll go ahead and make the wing next, though, because that looks like it'll be relatively easy to make because it's relatively plain compared to everything else. I'll just go ahead and I'll make that next. Let me look at the chat first really quickly. Doozer, Figment's fan in the chat. Doozer here from the Curse Days. I don't recognize the name Doozer. Who are you back in the Curse Days? Oh man, the Curse Days. I remember Project Cursed. But which one were you? Which one were you in the Curse Days? Because I don't recognize the name Doozer. Was that the name you went by back then, or did you have a different name? I'm still in contact with a few people from the Curse Days. Okay, actually, I think I do remember you from back in Project Curse. God, yeah, that was wild, the whole Project Curse thing. Guess it was a good learning experience, though. Okay, yeah, I was gonna say I didn't recognize the name Doozer. I think I do recognize the other name that you gave, though. Yes, Archivist, you can ask a question. Whether I see the question is a different story. Sometimes the chat goes by so fast that I lose sight of the question. But you can ask a question. Anyone can ask questions here. Oh man, yeah, Project Cursed was wild. Yeah, I prefer not to talk about that project, but it was a good learning experience. And yeah, there's a few people I met from Curse that I still talk to. Like I still talk to Adam to this day. He's doing music for my original game, so I met him through Project Cursed. Who else did I meet? Oh, the actress I have voicing Faye I met through Project Cursed. So yeah, there some good came out of that. Let's see if that was that the Archivist. Did you ask your question yet, Archivist, or did I miss it? I don't see it, so he must still be asking it. Let's see, is there any other questions I missed? Wow, I'm babbling words now. That project does indeed sound cursed. Yeah, it was cursed. I did a stream on it years ago, kind of talking about it. The reality was it was a bunch of relatively inexperienced people that were in a bit over their heads. When I worked on that project, I didn't even know how to 3D model. I was kind of picked up in that project, and I was kind of led to believe that some of the people in the project had more skills than they actually did. And after a few months, I kind of realized, like, yeah, this is going nowhere. I might kind of back away a little bit. And then after about a year and a half, I kind of just left. That project desperately needed a 3D modeler, and they just couldn't find a 3D modeler, a consistent 3D modeler for that project. And without a 3D modeler, can't really go far in making a 3D video game. So working inexperience with Source Engine is not good. I did learn how to use the Source Engine for that project. I started making a few of the levels for it, but we did, from what I remember, there was someone, I won't say their name, they were involved in another really big modding project for Source back in the day. That was part of the team and knew how to use it, but I think pretty quickly he kind of saw the project as a clown show, and he kind of he kind of started trolling everyone else on the project, and he just wasn't very helpful. So there was people who actually did know how to use the source engine involved, but it was a mess. But you got to start somewhere. And the project I worked on before Cursed was even worse, even though it actually did get finished. Although Codeman will disagree with me if he's still in the chat. Codeman will completely disagree with me about my first project. I think my first project is absolutely terrible, but it's worse than Project Cursed. It was just a bunch of good intentions and inexperienced people that were in over their heads, and all the people involved, they needed more experience before really starting on anything, myself included. Like, again, like I said a minute ago, I didn't even know how to make 3D models back then. Although, to be fair, I didn't join that project to do 3D models. But I guess you could say it was because of that project I actually became more intent on actually learning how to make 3D models. So yeah, in the end, some good stuff did come from Project Cursed, just not the actual game itself. And yeah, as I predicted, now that I'm reading the chat and talking, I'm not really getting anything done. So I don't know how much more I'm going to get done on this. I actually was working a lot better when Estelle was reading the questions and stuff in the chat, because I could just focus on this. So, yeah, if you guys like that, I'll try and do more streams like that, more of the dev streams like that in the future with Estelle, because that was actually her idea about 2 weeks ago. She was like, hey, I popped into your dev streams, and I think it'd be really cool if I could be like a sidekick and read the questions and stuff. And I'm like, I have no idea if I'll still be less distracted, but I think it's worth a shot, and I think it actually worked out. Like, I modeled pretty much the entire cockpit, without getting really distracted before she left. So it actually might be a good idea to have her on while I do some of these dev streams. Yeah, anyway, let me see what else is going on in the chat. Yeah, Ian, that's kind of the truth. I mean, a lot of us were pretty young and dumb. I don't like to shovel all the blame on the head of the project, but yeah, I'm on good terms with Chrono right now, so I don't really want to say like too many negative things about him. But yeah, he kind of led people into thinking he had a bit more experience under his belt, and he didn't. And kind of like everyone on the project, he ended up, gaining those skills after the fact. Or I'm not sure what he's up to now, but, he learned to 3D model and stuff too, and he ended up moving on to other things. But yeah, I think he oversold the project to the people that got involved. But I don't really hold anything against him. At least not anymore. Let's be real, it was a different time. Yeah, it was a different time for sure. I was a lot younger and a lot dumber. So, Gagnatar, do you want me to be co-host? I've got a bunch of experience. If the audience is fine with it, sure. I don't know. Does the audience want Gagnatar to be a co-host in the future? Sorry, I keep drinking water. My mouth is really drying out from talking today. I've gone through 2 water bottles already. And then I come here and relive old bad memories. I mean, at the time when Project Curse was going down, it wasn't fun. But in retrospect, it's kind of a goofy story, and it's kind of funny. A lot of stuff from that time, not just Project Curse, but a lot of stuff from my life during the time Project Curse was going on, like, that was right around actually one of the worst points in my life. But looking back on it in retrospect, it is kind of funny, like, some of the stuff that happened in, like, 2007, 2008. Yeah, 2007 and 2008 was... I'd say 2009 was probably, like, one of the worst years of my life. Like, that was, like... 2009 was, like, the lowest point of my life. Especially like the first half of 2009, like, and that was like right after I left Curse. Like it was just, yeah, 2009 was a shit year. Things got a lot better after that, though. See, I'm still that one person who was asking if they could ask a question. I still don't. Oh wait, no, Archivist. Okay, I think I see your questions. Okay, Archivist asks, what timeline is this? I asked because I saw some of your cutscenes you've created with Andros in his quarters. I saw the face of an Aperoid queen. The event horizon takes place over the entire, all of Star Fox. You know, it starts at the Lilat Wars and then it ends after Command. So it's the entire, it's all of it basically. Kind of like what I did with my Zelda game, where I kind of tried to combine all the different Zelda games into one. And then I think I see a second question. I see a second question by you. Will the Aperoids play a role in this game story-wise? Yes, they will. They'll be one of the primary enemy forces at some point. Just a matter of time. Sorry if I took so long to answer your questions. Once again, they got lost, but thankfully I saw them when I scrolled back up. Let's see, Brian Robbles. I was late to the stream. Who does the ship they're modeling belong to? Do you mean who pilots this Arwing? Anyone can pilot this Arwing once you unlock it, but by default, this is the Arwing that Faye will pilot. And then the Interceptor here by default is the Arwing that Miyu pilots. I know in Star Fox 2, both Miyu and Faye piloted the light Arwing, or the Interceptor, whatever it's called by default. But if I remember right, Peppy and Slippy piloted the armored Arwing by default. But I don't know. I'm making it so that Faye pilots the armored Arwing and Miyu gets the Interceptor. I'm not sure what really inspired that decision. That's just kind of what I went with. Crystal Kingdom General asked, do you think the Aperoids could be in the Star Fox 2 arc? If they are, it's not directly. They're not till after the Star Fox 2 portion of the game. There might be hints and references to them, like kind of like indicators that, you know, they're in the periphery, but they're not really directly involved in it. Chaos Deathlord. Combining all of Zelda into one, that's nuts considering everything is a different timeline. Yeah, it was nuts, and now that I've stepped away from the project and looked back on it, it absolutely was nuts, and I shouldn't have done it, but I don't regret trying to do it, but it did end up kind of collapsing under its own weight. The whole Zelda timeline thing is a ginormous mess, and if I ever did go back to doing Zelda stuff again, I would stick to a very specific game. Like I'd go back to just like Ocarina of Time and Majora's Mask and kind of ignore the rest, or just focus on Twilight Princess and kind of ignore. I'd focus on very specific time periods if I ever did a Zelda thing again, because it's just too much of a mess. Right after in I guess it's not the newest game now, but the one where they introduced the goat monsters from the sky that are like the origin of the royal family. I'm like, there's no way I can't work this in. I've thought of ways I could work that in, but I'm like, this is so out of left field. I can't anymore. Yeah, Zelda's too far gone. They really, with Zelda, they should just do what they do with Godzilla, where it's like there's just these different eras that aren't really related to each other. I think Godzilla handled that a lot better with the different unrelated eras. And then when they make a new Godzilla movie, they kind of just like, oh, this one ties into this era, or that one ties into that era, or this is a whole new era that's not related to any of them. They should just do that with Zelda. I don't know why they don't do something like that with Zelda. It'd solve a lot of problems. I guess probably from their perspective, though, they don't see it as a problem because I don't think they care. I think it's mostly just fans that care about continuity. And it's not just with Zelda. Fans seem to have become really, really obsessed with the idea of continuity and everything with like Star Wars and Star Trek. And I get it. Like, continuity is a really nice thing. But I actually suspect outside of super nerds, a lot of people probably don't really care for continuity that much. I'm not saying if that's a good or bad thing. I think that's just the reality of what it is. Like, I think most normal people, I use normal in air quotes, I guess normies, they really don't care if a sequel to a thing they like matches up with what happened before. I think because they just see it as like a fictional thing, and it doesn't, that entertains them, and it doesn't really matter. Now, I'm like super nerdy, and I kind of grew up on Star Trek with all the technical manuals and everything, so my mind thinks like that too, where why everything has to connect, and if it doesn't, it doesn't make sense. So I think kind of like that too, but I kind of have to like separate myself from that mindset, and I think most people in the world do not think like that, and continuity is just not really important to them. And I think that extends to some of the people creating these things too. Like, they just see it as like does it really matter? Yeah, I guess that's an unanswered question. Like, does it actually matter or not? I don't know. It depends, because there's a lot of things I like that don't have continuity, like Godzilla. Godzilla barely has a continuity at all, but they did the whole era thing, which I think kind of solves that problem a little bit. Yeah, Final Fantasy is actually a great example of another series where there's not like really any continuity at all, except for very specific games. Like, every game is kind of almost every Final Fantasy game is basically a reboot, which is kind of interesting. Like, not even just like the events, like the actual gameplay in Final Fantasy changes quite a bit, especially like the way the battle systems work in each of the games. So there's a series that's basically constantly rebooting every several years. See, some series are designed with continuity in mind, like Star Wars. Zelda isn't really in that capacity. They're mostly just games to be games. Yeah, I kind of... And I've pointed it out on the stream before in the Ocarina of Time book here. There's a little passage in the Ocarina of Time book here that basically says, like, these are all kind of just like fragmented legends that some schmuck found in a library someday, and the scrolls are all incomplete, and there's not really a continuity to them all, and they slip the mask on what they're thinking. They basically just... they're giving people who play the games, freedom to kind of arrange them however they see fit. So, at least as of Ocarina of Time in 1998, they really didn't... they had no kind of intentions of making it like a chronology at all. Or, well, I guess chronology is the right word to use. It was something more like the Arthurian legends, where there's not really a clear chronology. It was a lot more mythological, I guess you could say. A lot of myths, like the Odyssey and the Iliad, and a lot of mythical stories, they don't actually have a chronology at all, because they're such ancient stories. They also, the way ancient people perceive time is a lot differently than how time is perceived now. Like, we perceive time now as I'm gonna completely butcher the pronunciation of these two words, but we perceive time now as it's the same word where chrono has the etymology from, where we perceive time as a bunch of measured moments, whereas a lot of ancient cultures, they perceive time as kairotic, which I'm probably mispronouncing that word. An example of that idea is like in the Middle Ages, if you were in England and you had to attend church or whatever, they wouldn't give a specific time. They wouldn't say 12 a.m. noon. They'd say you show up when the sun is at its highest point. And time worked a lot more like that rather than like specific measured time. So people's perception of time before we started measuring time in that specific way is very different. Like, the way you perceive the world is completely different than when you see it as a measured time. It's really trippy. And then you have cultures that are completely nomadic, which also perceive time in a very different way than cultures that are settled down in cities and stuff. So there's all kinds of weird ways to perceive time. And a lot of ancient stories and myths, they don't perceive time in the way we do now, where it's all measured and stuff like that. That's not to say they didn't measure time. Like the Romans, they measure time in the way we do now, where they have specific measurements for time and specific numbers and things that denote what time of the day it is. But most cultures didn't have that for most of history. And that was kind of a huge tangent to the whole Zelda thing. But the point is, it seems like the Zelda games are supposed to be more mythical, and at least as far back as Ocarina of Time, that's kind of the way they were treating them, is they're kind of like a bunch of myths, and there's not really a chronology to it. And you see that in like the myths around Alexander the Great and the Arthurian legends, where there's not really a chronology at all. It's very, very loosey-goosey as to when things happen. There's things that happen that seem like that they happened before another thing happened, but then they don't. And then you have different versions of the story. Like one of my favorite examples is in the Alexander romance. In the original Greek version, they're very insistent that Nyctanobo is his father. And then in the French medieval version, it's really funny. Whoever was copying down the French medieval version of the Alexander romance, they're like, no, Nyctanobo wasn't Alexander's father. How dare they mock his mother and say his mother had an affair with Nyctanobo? Yeah, like how dare they slander Alexander's mother? It's really funny how the medieval French, they're probably monks, whoever was copying down the story, they were insistent that no, Nyctanobo was not his father. So you have things like that. And then when I read those stories, then I look at Zelda and I'm like, yeah, Zelda's more like that. So I don't know why they do the whole... I don't know why fans and Nintendo nowadays, they're so insistent that there's like a chronological like timeline thing, and it's just all a mess now. Let's see, Brian Robbles, will we ever see the Arwing of Star Fox Assault in Event Horizon? It's already in Event Horizon, so yes, you will. I said earlier in this stream, I kind of go back and forth on whether the Assault design or the Adventures design is my favorite, so obviously the Assault design has got to be in the game, and it already is. I haven't really made any of the levels where you play as it, though, but it's in the game. It was actually the first Arwing model. I didn't make the Assault Arwing. It's the Shadows of Lilac team made it, and I kept it because it was so good. But yeah, it was technically the first Arwing in this game. Let's see what other questions are there. How do you justify the tin toy aesthetic in Assault in the game? What exactly do you mean? Do you mean like the kind of tin sounding filter on the voices? Although aesthetic, I think you mean like visuals. You might have to clarify what exactly you mean by tin toy aesthetic. What other questions did I miss? You talking about sundials? When I mean kairotic time, I don't necessarily mean sundials, although I'm pretty sure Romans had sundials too. I think sundials were actually used to measure a more specific amount of time. But no, actually, there's places in the world where they still do. Like if you go to like Indonesia, places in Indonesia and like the Pacific Islands down there, they don't. Everywhere doesn't quite measure time in the same way. Like if you want to set up an appointment somewhere, they'll just be like, "Oh, show up when the sun is at the highest point." They won't give you a specific time of day. That's how a lot of civilization functioned for most of recorded human history, and probably before that too. They didn't measure time in specific measurements. And if you don't perceive time that way, it really alters your perception of time. It's really crazy. See, Crystal Kingdom General. Shadows of Lilac. Been a while since I heard about that one. I take it it's dead. Yeah, that project died in like 2012. I think it was 2012 when they gave up on it. So I mean the visuals, they look a bit far removed from the other ships. They look like 1950s tin toys to me. Okay, yeah, I agree with you that the aesthetic in Assault does look really different from the designs in 64. And the way I perceive that is that it's just further in the future, and the kind of like how in Star Trek, if you look at the original series and then the movies and then the Next Generation, as time goes on, just the artistic trends of whoever's designing the ships in universe changes. Kind of like in real life, how like fashion changes and architecture changes. I'm guessing our Space Dynamics, or whoever designed like all the different ships in the time of Assault, they just had different aesthetics in mind when they made updated versions of all the craft. So that's kind of how I perceived it, and that's how it is in Event Horizon. Just a decade has passed, and you know, when they made the new versions of the Cornerian ships and the Arwings, the people designing the ships had different aesthetics in mind. Star Fox Event Horizon language Japanese dubbing mod. If someone's up for that. I don't really know Japanese well at all. I only know a few phrases. That's about it. Chaos Deathlord. Meet me in 3 cycles of the moon. My favorite one is a fortnight, which is technically still a specific measurement of time, but this is a bit of a tangent, but when I read the first A Song of Ice and Fire book, the Game of Thrones, I couldn't help but notice that George R.R. Martin uses the word fortnight all the time in that book, and it's really funny to me for some reason. Everyone uses fortnight in that book. All the time. Ah, yes, the modern Star Trek remakes, aka the Apple. I don't even necessarily mean the newest Star Trek. I even mean like between the original series and like the first Star Trek movie in the 70s. Like the aesthetic. That movie, if I remember right, it takes place 10 years chronologically after the original series, and the aesthetics are completely different at that point. The uniforms are completely different. And actually, I really, really love the aesthetics of the old Star Trek movies. They're so cool. And then when you get to TNG, the aesthetics again are completely, and that one's like almost a century after the movies. The aesthetics have completely changed. Now they're like all rounded and curvy and very almost organic looking compared to the aesthetics of the original series and the movies. And that's just because, fashion changes over time. And then, yeah, when they rebooted Star Trek in 2009, the aesthetics were completely different from any of the pre-existing stuff. As you said, like the Apple iPod store aesthetic, which was the style at the time. I'd actually argue that Assault kind of leans a little bit into the Apple iPod aesthetic. Not entirely, but it's got a little bit of that going on. Yeah, that Apple iPod aesthetic was everywhere in like the late 2000s. And Universe at War really leaned heavily into that. What other games and movies leaned into that? I'm trying to think of some other examples. That kind of... Wall-E leaned into that. Yeah, that was a really, really common sci-fi aesthetic at the time, which is really funny in retrospect. Actually, there was someone... It was just yesterday. Someone made a video on the new Star Trek Discovery show, and it was kind of like a retrospective on why they chose the aesthetics for that show or whatever, and how they wanted to make it so that the show looked how people would actually... They wanted the show to actually look futuristic, and I was trying to make the point across to him, like, that's kind of a weird thing to do, because in another 10 to 20 years, like, what people see as futuristic is going to change again. So, like, Star Trek Discovery is going to look really outdated in another 20 years. So, I don't know. I think that's a weird goal. Like, because people's perception of what is futuristic is always changing. I don't know if he quite understood the point I was trying to make, so I kind of just left it at that, but... Yeah. I don't really like the aesthetics of Star Trek Discovery. It looks like they took a lot of inspiration from Mass Effect, and while I love Mass Effect, it's one of my favorite games. I actually don't really like the aesthetic of Mass Effect that much. That might get me lynched, so I apologize anyone who loves the aesthetics of Mass Effect. Everything was chrome in the 2000s. Yep. I actually really love the chrome aesthetic. In my original IP, I have a lot of I dig up a lot of the chrome aesthetic for my stuff. Chrome is cool.
Can I say something?
Oh, what?
I can say something?
Yeah, you can say
I
something.
didn't want to interrupt. I was just thinking, I think one of the reasons why something like Chrome works is because it was also popular in the past. And the truth about fashion, about trends, about design is that we will draw inspiration from the past and just slightly modify it over and over and over again. So it's actually more believable, believable that the future will look something like something in the past, and also ages better.
I don't know if you guys can you hear her in the background? I actually don't know if they can even hear you.
Oh, I don't know.
I don't know. I'll find out in a second because the stream's like 20 seconds behind. But I actually don't know if they could hear you in the background. They might think I'm just talking to the air. I think someone heard you, and they said you're right.
Yeah. Fashion is like that. We don't ever really have anything totally new. We always look at things in the past and was like, I kind of like that. I'm going to adjust it a little bit.
Yeah, humans have always been incremental in the way they develop things. There's really never anything completely like new and original. Otherwise, it looks like chaos.
Yeah, well, it's also like when people are like, "Oh, you stole my thing. It looks like mine." It's just like, well, they didn't steal it. No one's ever really that original. They just need to look up the Dennis the Menace example.
Yeah. Anyway, I see a few questions. Yeah, they all heard you. I saw a question and now I just lost it. Oh, Crystal Kingdom General. What is your favorite Star Trek ship overall? That is a tough question. If you specifically mean like one of the which Enterprise design is my favorite, it's the refit from the movies. That ship is so fucking cool. Overall, though, I really like the Breen ships from DS9. They have a really, really cool aesthetic. What other ships do I really like? I like this is gonna seem like an oddball one. I really, really like the Talarian ships. I don't even know if anyone in the audience knows what the Talarian ships look like. The Talarian ships are really cool to me with the little solar panels sticking out. I love the Talarian ships in Star Trek. What other ones are there that I like a lot? I like the NX, the prototype Enterprise, and I like the refit version that never made it into the original show. I really like those two ships a lot. But overall favorite design. That's a real tough one to answer. There's a lot of very good, very cool designs in Star Trek. But I might have to say the refit of the Constitution might be my overall favorite of all of them. It's probably one I'm forgetting I like more, but I really like all of the Jem'Hadar ships though. The evil pink ships are really cool. The USS Years of the USS Vengeance. I really like the silhouette of the USS Vengeance, and thankfully that movie kept the ship mostly in silhouette. How it's basically just like a black shadow in that movie. It looks really cool, but when I actually see it with the lighting on it, like when I saw the little model of it, and I see it where it's not in shadow and you can see it clearly, I kind of don't really like the ship that much. But the silhouette of the ship looks really cool in that movie. Translucent bright plastic. Yeah, I remember translucent bright plastic. I remember the late 90s. I had translucent bright plastic N64 controllers. I remember. I was there. Let's see. Yeah, I'm getting really distracted by the chat. I don't know how much more I'm going to get done of this ship. I'm just totally distracted by the chat now. I think it's been about an hour since Estelle left, so I might just do a Q&A for a little while, and I'll just finish this model later. I think I've discovered I can't work and look at the chat at the same time. I can't do it. So when I do this again, I'll try and make sure I can get Estelle or someone else on, and I can just kind of work in the background because I can't multitask. Oh, there's another question. What do you say if I actually tried to revive Cursed as something actually manageable? If you could do it, I say go for it. I don't want to get involved in Cursed though, because post-traumatic stress disorder. But if you can pull it off, go ahead. Man, yeah. Now I'm just getting memories of Project Cursed. That was a wild time. 2008 was wild, man. Not even just Project Curse, just everything going on in the world at that time, both in my personal life and just 2008 was wild. See, I've asked my questions. I'm not sure if anyone anymore besides what let me go see what your last question was, Mr. Green Rob, because I don't know if I saw it. I see you mentioning the Aperoids. And was your last question asking how the Aperoids will look? You'll just have to wait and find out. Maybe the next time I do one of these streams, I'll model an Aperoid. But if you ask questions, I'm not seeing them after scrolling back up. Oh, are you just saying you've already asked your questions? I think I completely misread what you said there. Andrewny, when's the next stream? The next stream I will do is as soon as I get the little miniature samples for all the craft in Event Horizon for the patrons, which I think he's mailing them out as we speak. He just asked for my address while it was on the stream, so I think he's mailing them out right now. So I'll probably get them sometime in the next week. So I'll say, just to be safe, I'll say the next stream will probably be in like the next 2 weeks sometime. Depends on when those show up. See, someone tried to sell us a plane on the... oh my god, I totally I forgot about... oh, I remember, yeah, they tried to sell an airplane. I remember that. Oh, you unlocked a core memory. I remember that. Oh my god. I don't remember the details, but you gotta... what were the details behind that? Yeah, in Project Curse, there was someone who joined the team who ended up like trying to sell like an actual airliner to us, and we were so confused as to what was going on. And it was, in retrospect, it was probably some scam thing, and I think our stupidity kind of helped us because like we didn't get stuck in some weird scam thing because we had no idea like why is this. I totally remember that guy trying to sell the plane. I don't remember the exact details, though. Oh, my God. I can't believe I forgot about that. I don't even think when I did that stream years ago with Adam, I don't think we brought that up. Oh, my God. Yeah, the airline. That was really funny. I remember being brought into that, and I'm like, what? Are we being sold an air? What is going on? I was so confused. Oh my god, I remember that. Oh my goodness. That was, yeah, like I said, Project Curse was wild. There's probably other wild things that happened that I can't remember. Let's see, it was added for extra promotion. So what, did he join the team, like, with full knowledge that he was some kind of was it some weird advertising thing that... yeah, I don't know. I at the time, I don't even think I knew what was going on. It was something I heard about, and I'm like, what is this? Why is an airplane being, like, I just... oh my god. Yeah, Project Curse was fun. It was really fun, in air quotes. See, wouldn't it be creepy if Lucasfilm made an adaptation of the horror novel Star Wars Death Troopers? I've never read that novel, so I'm not... I don't know enough about that novel. I have read some of the Star Wars novel. I've got a few of them back here. I got obviously the Thrawn trilogy back there. I got the Wonderful Courtship of Princess Leia. I read that one about a year ago. That was a trip. But I have not read Star Wars Death Troopers, so I don't know if it would be a creepy adaptation or not. Oh man, I don't know if I want to remember everything about Cursed, Mr. Figment's fan. Yeah, like I said, I'm actually on pretty good terms with the people I'm still in contact with from Project Curse. I don't know if I want to dig up all the stuff from that project. But yeah, it was a doozy. See, the only map I remember seeing was Chrono making a box with some offshoot rooms from Great Fox 2. That might have been from after I left. I remember I made it was never like finished. It didn't have textures or anything, but I made a map of the prologue level that we had done on Corneria, where you're going through Corneria and trying to remember the details. You end up fighting some smuggler guy or something in that level. I boxed out that level in the Hammer editor. I remember that, but I distinctly remember the one guy who actually did have experience in Source chewing me out and saying that my boxed out level was terrible. I do remember that. I started to make what else did I start to make? I started to make like a space station level on the interior, but obviously I didn't know how to actually 3D model, so I just kind of used the geometry tool in the Hammer editor, and I didn't know how to texture anything, so it was all just like blank textures. It sucked, but I don't remember the Great Fox 2 box. That must have been after I left the project. Let's see, the Timothy Zahn. Yeah, the Timothy Zahn books are pretty cool. I do find it funny, though, because I hadn't read them in ages, and I decided to read them after the Ahsoka show came out, so I bought them all again, and I read them again, and I do find it funny. I remember in the Ahsoka show, a lot of people kind of complained how at the end of that one episode, when Thrawn kind of loses, he kind of like spins it and, oh no, it all went according to plan, and everyone thought that was stupid, but that happens at the end of the Heir to the Empire book. He tries to steal all of those ships at the Sluice Van shipyard or whatever, and the whole thing blows up in his face. And the book basically ends with him trying to spin it like, oh no, this actually all went fine. Everything's fine. We actually won. And I'm just like, wow, that is kind of funny. And oh, Dr. E. Estelle left about an hour ago. Oh, I'm sorry. She went to sleep. It was getting really late in the UK time, but I'm sure she would have instantly said hello back to you as soon as she saw that. Let's see, Figment's fan. When I had control over the project after Chrono signed it over to me, you made me a Cornerian. You rejoined when I had... Did I rejoin? You know what? I think I do remember modeling... I do think I remember making a rifle. What? I don't remember when that was, though. We're going back, like, what, 16, 17, 18 years now, so I'm trying to... My memory's really getting fuzzy. I think I do remember making it. That was after I knew how to... Well, I say knew how to 3D model. I was still learning at the time, but... Morgan. To be fair, Thrawn is kind of Gary Sue. He's always amazing. He always thinks ahead. Thrawn. Yeah, I did a stream I think like 2 years ago with Iron Wolf, and we talked about Star Wars a lot. And Thrawn to me is I feel like he's really out of place in Star Wars. He feels more like a Star Trek villain, honestly. Even just like the fact that he's like a weird blue alien, like that feels more like the kind of villain that would be in Star Trek, and the kind of the things he does and the way he thinks. He really comes off more as a Star Trek-y kind of villain rather than Star Wars. Like I could very easily like imagine like Picard and Thrawn like being, you know, on opposite ends of a conflict, and then they sit down at like a table to like kind of hash things out, and then things like go sour and things kind of blow up. Like I don't know, I've always felt like Thrawn was more of a Star Trek villain than a Star Wars villain. Let's see, what if you add a what if scenario in your Star Fox game, like a wormhole? Or like the mirror universe in Star Trek? Is that what you're asking, Super God Tempest? If I do like a mirror universe of Star Fox? See, in Star Wars Rebels, Thrawn almost never lost either. Well, I've never seen Rebels, so I'll take your word for it. Yeah, it seems like Morgan seems to agree with me. He feels more like a Star... Yeah, he feels more like a Star Trek villain. Star Wars villains, they tend to be a little more... I don't want to say dumber. That's not the right word to use. Although some Star Wars villains are kind of dumb, but Star Wars villains are more personal. I'm not sure how I would distinguish them. But a lot of Star Trek villains, with a few exceptions, like I was gonna say an exception like Khan, but I would say even Khan and Kirk don't really have, at least from Kirk's perspective, there's not really much personal beef there. A lot of Star Trek villains are more they have less personal connection with the protagonists, whereas in Star Wars a lot of the villains, there's a lot more personal connection between I mean, in the first Star Wars movie, it doesn't seem like there's any connection at all between like Darth Vader and Luke or whatever. But obviously they end up being family. But I don't know if I'm explaining myself at all. I'm probably just babbling now. Figment's fan, they're more incompetent. Yeah. There's some Star Trek villains that are pretty... I would actually argue Khan is really incompetent. And that's actually why... he's... Sorry, I'm losing... I was up really early today, and now I'm kind of losing it. I'm probably going to have to get off soon, but... Khan was really inexperienced and kind of incompetent at dealing with space, and that's how he was constantly being taken advantage of. He was basically completely out of time and completely... Yeah, he was incompetent. I don't know how else to put it. Oh, Michael Eddington from DS... you know what? I just found out not that long ago that the actor that plays Michael Eddington in DS9 is the same guy who plays the prince in Krull. And that broke my brain. I didn't realize it was him because he had a full head of hair in Krull. Michael Eddington's a great villain. Michael Eddington... Is he? I would say he's actually pretty competent. I'm trying to think if he did anything I would consider like incompetent. I'm having trouble thinking of it, so that's a good sign. Yeah, Michael Eddington's a really good villain, and he does have a very personal connection to Cisco. So actually, that's a pretty good example of like a personal, like a villain who has a very direct tie to one of the main characters. I guess you could argue on that same note, Gul Dukat has a bunch of personal connections with a bunch of characters, but for like half the show, Gul Dukat actually isn't a villain. He starts out as a villain, and then he's not, and then he becomes a villain again at the end of the show. And Gul Dukat, though, is very incompetent, which is part of his character. I love Gul Dukat, though. I love how he's constantly, like, fucking everything up. Especially the one episode when he has that program on the station when that program in place for if there's ever a revolt from all the workers. And then he goes to the station to kind of like gloat to everyone, and then his whole program like blows up in his face because one of his superiors had another program to like if Goldicott tried to escape the station during an uprising, and then his whole program like blows up in his face, and that was just wonderful. I love that episode so much. Yeah, Goldicott is actually a great example of a very incompetent villain who's still like a really good villain.
That's just the way narcissists are.
Yeah, because he's so narcissistic. And he I think by the end of the show he becomes aware of it, which is why he's willing to screw himself over just to like basically get a petty victory. So I feel like they did Ducat dirty. He was becoming an interesting character, but then they did a 180, and yeah, a lot of people say that. I think like you, I would have preferred if they had gone the other way, and he didn't kind of completely lose it after his daughter gets killed. At the same time, though, that one episode in the last season where he starts the cult. And then that one Bajoran has a baby who's like half Cardassian, and he tries to spin that. That is the most Goldicott moment in the entire show. Like that scene is so funny to me. I'm like that scene where Goldicott has a cult, and then you find out he sired a child with one of his cult members, and he tries to spin it in a way that he wasn't responsible for. That is so perfect. It's like the best Goldicott moment ever. Say hello, Estelle. I'm a big fan of Star Fox and your character, Crystal. I apologize. Estelle left the stream about an hour ago, but I'll definitely tell her, all of you are telling her hello when I talk to her tomorrow. And I apologize if you thought I was Estelle Ellis. I'm not the voice of Crystal, if it wasn't obvious. Attention Bajoran workers. Yeah, that's one of my favorite episodes of DS9. My favorite episodes of DS9 are the episodes when Goldicott shows up to gloat and then it just blows up in his face. Those are always my favorite episodes. And that's one of the best examples is the Attention Bajoran workers episode. Actually, I'm starting to suspect some of these people saying hi to Estelle might actually be spam bots. I apologize if you guys aren't spam bots, but there seems to be a bunch of people starting to say hello, Estelle, I'm a big fan, and the syntax is kind of similar, and it's making me suspect you guys are bots. Again, I apologize if you're not bots, but let's see, how long have I been going? I've been going for 2.5 hours, so yeah, I'm probably going to wrap up the stream soon. Let me just check Discord and make sure I've not missed out on some stuff. Oh my god, my Discord's blown up. Like, there's tons of people messaging me on Discord. I'll have to catch up with that after the stream. There are several bots. Yeah, I have a feeling some of the people in the audience are bots. That's just the nature of YouTube. Oh, I don't know, maybe Twin Pony's not a bot. I don't know. Who knows? But if you're not a bot, I'll tell Estelle you said hi to her tomorrow. Anyway, let's see what other questions there are before I head out. Rule number 1 of the Star Trek universe is do not piss off Kirk. Yes, and also do not piss off Sisko. It's safe to piss off Picard, though. Yeah, don't piss off Sisko is probably the person you don't want to piss off the most. He'll go the extra mile in getting revenge. Yeah, Eddington was competent. He outsmarted Sisko most of the time. Yeah, the one thing about Eddington, he got the upper hand because he did everything in secret. No one knew he was up to what he was doing. After he was exposed and he lost his resources in Starfleet, things kind of kind of turned against him because he was ousted and he no longer had all of the resources of Starfleet. But yeah, Eddington is a pretty great villain. They should have kept him around a bit longer, in my opinion. But yeah, I was blown away when I realized he was the main character in Kroll, and I never recognized him because he had hair in the movie, and in DS9 he's almost bald. And they were only a few years. The Kroll movie I think was 87 and DS9 was 94, so they weren't that far apart from each other. But he looks completely different in the show and the movie. Picard never hit me. Yeah, case in point. Yeah, when freaking Cisco just punches Q in the face. Yeah, Picard. You could risk pissing off Picard. Picard definitely is in control of his temper. Whereas Cisco, if you pissed him off, yeah, you were in. Same thing with Kirk. Like if you pissed Kirk off, he would. Kirk was never really so angry about it though. Kirk was kind of more like, oh, you want to piss me off? Yeah, I can play this game. Where Cisco legitimately would get angry and be like, no, I'm taking you down. I'm gonna nuke an entire planet to take you down, Eddington. Yeah, I agree with you, Crystal Kingdom, about that's what I was trying to say. Like, I was trying to tell the other person I would have preferred them go in the direction they were saying, but the direction they went in with Dukat, I don't think is necessarily completely out of character. I would say the problem with it is maybe if it was done over a longer period of time. It does seem kind of like just out, like his daughter dies and then just a few episodes later he's decided, oh yeah, I'm completely just gonna burn everything down now. I feel like if they'd done that over a longer period of time, it might have worked a little better. Another hot take. I hate Jean-Luc Picard. Forwards, The Wounded, and Homeward. The Wounded, that's the first episode with the Cardassians, right? I'm having trouble remembering what the Homeward episode was, though. Actually, I really, really like Picard a lot, but he's a completely different person than, well, almost all the other characters in Star. I would actually argue Picard kind of embodies the intent of, like, the ideal captain, like, that Gene Roddenberry probably wanted. Picard probably embodies that the most. Just, I think Kirk and Cisco are probably more interesting characters in a general sense. Especially Cisco. Cisco might actually be, like, my favorite character in Star Trek overall. It's either him or... I like Garrick a lot, though. Is Garrick better than Cisco? That's a tough one. I like Trip a lot in Enterprise. Trip is one of my favorite characters, which is funny because when Enterprise first aired, I kind of hated Trip, like, with the burning passion. But when I rewatched Enterprise, like, a decade later, like, Trip ended up being one of my favorite characters in Star Trek. But I do like Picard a lot. At least Picard before, like, the movies and before the Picard show. Like, Picard back in actual TNG, I actually think he's a really interesting character because there's not a lot of characters in modern stuff like him. He really is kind of like, even though he's supposed to be French, he really kind of is like a very idealized, like, idea of like the noble, like, British admiral from, like, the 17 and 1800s. He's kind of like a hyper idealized version of that, like the most positive version of that kind of image. And you don't really get a lot of characters like that in anything. Like a very experienced, elderly character who has wisdom, who doesn't just lose their temper and is always doing everything they can, even if they fail, they're always trying to, like, adhere to an actual code of ethics. That's very rare in a lot of a lot of media, and the fact that Picard actually like does that kind of makes him stand out a bit. But yeah, I do like Picard a lot. He does do quite a few really stupid things though. Like, but you know, no one's perfect. Everyone makes mistakes. Both Kirk and Sisko also do stupid things at some point. But Ice Cream Man, would you say Kirk and Sisko are more realistic than Picard? I mean, the thing is, like, there's a lot of variety in humanity. Like, there's been people like Picard in real life, and there's been people like Sisko in real life. And there's people like Kirk in real... Like, there's a lot of variety amongst humanity, so I would say all three of them are realistic. Like, I've known people like Sisko who, if you get on their bad side, they don't take it very well. And I've known people like Kirk who are kind of, you know, reckless and... You know, they're a little bit smug, but they're actually kind of competent. And I have known one person who's kind of like Picard, so like I wouldn't say any of them are unrealistic. I don't know. I'm not sure entirely what exactly people mean by that when they say, is this character more realistic? Like, there's a lot of variety amongst humanity. Like, Gul Dukat is a very realistic character. I've known a few people like Gul Dukat, and I've known these people that if they actually got power, they would probably do a lot of harm to people. Like, there's just all kinds of... There's a lot of wacky people in the world. See, Nico Boy Official says, I liked Enterprise, but the last episode was so unnecessary. Yeah, the last episode of Enterprise is... I have a feeling if it wasn't the last episode of Enterprise, people would probably have thought it was a little more cool because it's like a kind of like a stealth TNG episode, but it's a really lame, especially because at that time it seemed like Star Trek was done for good. If that was the end of Star Trek, that would have sucked. Like, yeah, These Are the Voyages is a really kind of it's a really lame episode. Less so that because it's a TNG episode, but the actual events that happen in the episode are just kind of mundane and lame. And then they killed Trip kind of randomly, which sucked, but... So yeah, someone's mentioning Buzz Lightyear doing the Vulcan salute in Toy Story. I remember seeing that when I was a kid. See, I'm watching the original series with a friend these days. Kirk is insufferable, you know. There's a few episodes where Kirk does some really funny stuff in the original series. I would say he's at his best in the movies, especially in like the Search for Spock. I love the Search for Spock. That's such a good. That's like probably I know a lot of people like the Wrath of Khan, especially when they're thinking about Kirk. But I actually think Search for Spock is like. That's like when Kirk, like, finally, he's just like, fuck it, I'm gonna do everything I can to succeed at this, and he freaking blows up the Enterprise, and, well, he steals it, he fucking risks his entire career, and then he blows it up when it looks like he's gonna lose. Like, that's such a good movie. And he's great in Undiscovered Country, also. What's the best Star Trek film, in your opinions? Undiscovered Country is the best one, the one I just mentioned. I think that's the best one from a technical like standpoint. It's my personal favorite also. Undiscovered Country, so good. It holds up so well too. And as far as like endings go, because that really is kind of like, I know the TOS characters appear after that in TNG and some of the movies, but that really was kind of like, that was supposed to be like the end of the crew of the original Enterprise. And as far as endings go, it's really good. Like, so many Star Trek shows have such terrible endings that it's kind of awesome that one... TNG also had a nearly perfect ending before they kept making movies and it didn't have a perfect ending. But yeah, the TOS crew got a pretty good ending with Undiscovered Country, and that's my favorite movie. Let's see, Wrath of Khan felt closer to NG than the original series did. I'm not sure, by NG, do you mean The Next Generation? Because if that's the case, I kind of agree with you. I feel like the Wrath of Khan doesn't really feel like the original series at all. Not that it's necessarily a bad thing, but I'm not sure what you mean by NG, though. I think you mean Next Generation, but... See, the only one we see a lot of in the new series is definitely Scotty. Yeah, Scotty was in TNG in that one episode. He was in Generations, but actually Spock was in a lot more post Undiscovered Country than Scotty, I think. Spock was in... He was in several episodes of TNG. He was also in... I know he was in the reboot Star Trek movie. What else? I think he was in two of the reboot movies, actually. The Kelvinverse movies, whatever they're called. And I'm pretty sure Spock was in something else. It's gonna really bother me. What else was he in? Someone in the audience will know, but and then Bones was in one episode of TNG, but I think that's it. I don't think he was in anything else. So yeah, Scotty was in more post stuff than McCoy, but I think Spock was in the most. I think he was in 3 or 4 different things. But I might be wrong. Someone will correct me if I'm wrong. See, I haven't watched the movies from the original series yet, except for Wrath of Khan. I highly recommend watching the original series movies. I suspect you'll find the first one a little bit boring, and you'll probably not like the 5th original series movie. But 2, 3, 4, and 6 are all pretty damn good, with the last one being the best in my opinion. I like all 6 of them, even the first one, but I'm a weirdo. See, the only one we see a lot in the newer... Oh, I already read that. Like I said, I haven't watched Star Trek much since my uncle passed. Oh, I'm really sorry about your uncle. Oh, that's upsetting me a little bit. But yeah, especially if there's a connection with Star Trek. Yeah, I have a family member I watched a lot of Star Trek with, so yeah, I can kind of relate to that a bit. But yeah, Star Trek is great. At least I haven't really kept up with most of the new stuff, so I can't really... The new stuff I've seen I haven't really liked, but pretty much everything up until the end of Enterprise is at least watchable. See, hot take, I love the first film. Yeah, I like the motion picture a lot, too. I agree with people, you could probably cut out 45 minutes of that movie and it'd actually make it better, but I actually like that movie quite a lot. And I always have. I've always been a weirdo. I think the weakest of the original movies is probably the 5th one. Although the first like 20 minutes of the 5th movie are really good. When they're all on vacation on Earth, that part of the movie is great. It's when their vacation's interrupted and they go back into space, and then the plot of the movie actually starts. That whole movie starts to fall apart and get really stupid. The first like 20, like the intro of that movie too, with Cybok on the Mad Max planet is really well done, and their vacation at the start is great, and then the movie starts to fall apart when they go into space, and then the really bad special effects, like, oh my goodness. What does God need with a starship? Yeah, the visual effects in the first Star Trek movie are fantastic. They look better than a lot of modern visual effects. It's crazy. Although I think the visual effects in the 6th Star Trek movie are probably the best, especially considering that movie had a slashed budget. The 6th Star Trek movie looks visually better than all of them except for the first one, even though it had one of the smallest budgets. It's crazy what they did with the budget in that movie. Oh yeah, by S3, do you mean Star Trek 3 or Season 3? If you mean Season 3, yeah, that was the one with Spock's brain. What is brain? That episode's really funny. I love the original series. It's so good. Sometimes for all the wrong reasons. Modern VFX are all CGI. I miss practical effects. As someone whose life goal is basically making CGI effects, I agree. Although there are CGI effects in the 6th Star Trek movie. When the Praxis moon explodes, that's a CGI effect, and there's a few shots of the Enterprise that are actually CGI effects that they hold up. You wouldn't know they're CGI effects until they're pointed out. So yeah, there is some good CGI effects. It's just for some reason they seem to always be the exception. I don't know why. I don't know the exact reasons why a lot of modern CGI effects seem to stand out so much. Because there's so many examples of good CGI. Like, I say so many, and then I say that they're the exceptions. But yeah, the CGI effects in the 7th Star Trek movie too. There's quite a few CGI effects in that movie, and you never know that they're CGI effects, even though the movie's from 1994. And First Contact has I think First Contact has a lot of CGI effects too, and they look great. The first Star Trek movie that has questionable CGI effects is Insurrection, and then Nemesis has really good CGI effects too. In Nemesis, it's kind of hard to tell which shots are models and which shots are CGI. I mean, I can tell because I can, I've seen the CGI models up close from one of my friends who works with the studio, but sorry, I'm getting really tired now. I might have to tap out in a few minutes. How difficult would it be to install and play Event Horizon? All you have to do is get GnosisNet, which is free, and you don't even have to install GnosisNet. It's just like this exe that kind of runs. And I'll go ahead and post a link to it in the YouTube chat. You run GnosisNet, and then you go to the game section and you just look for Star Fox Event Horizon and you click install, and it's that simple. See, the problem with CGI effects is they try too hard and it ends up not looking right, like trying to CG Harold Ramis into Ghostbusters Afterlife. I don't know. I've been trying to really pinpoint what exactly it is that, because I've seen countless videos on the subject. There's a really good video on the CGI in Attack of the Clones and why a lot of the CGI in that movie is really noticeable. And I don't know. I've been really trying to think, like, this is something I've thought about for years. Like, why is it that, like, the T-Rex in Jurassic Park, the CGI T-Rex, a CGI effect from 1993, like, you look at it and it's really hard to tell that it's CGI, but in the new Jurassic World, I know that, like, just by looking at it, I know the T-Rex is a CGI effect. Like, I've been thinking about it for years. And it's the same thing with Star Trek. Like, the Enterprise B in the 7th Star Trek movie is completely CGI, but it doesn't look CGI at all. It looks like an actual physical model. But in, like, the newer Star Trek stuff, it's obvious that it's a CGI effect and not a model. And I don't know why that is. Like, for years I've been trying to figure it out. Like, how does a CGI effect from 1994, when the stuff was still brand new, look better than an effect from 2016? That makes no sense to me at all. Figments fan says because it's super obscured by rain. That might explain the T-Rex one, but I don't think it really explains the Enterprise B in Generations, which is not obscured by rain. It's in the vacuum of space. At least for the first few minutes of the movie, it's in the vacuum of space, and then it flies into the Nexus, and there's all kinds of crazy shit going on. But the CGI Enterprise B looks so, and if I remember right, the Enterprise D in the 7th movie, when it's getting destroyed by the Klingon ship, I'm pretty sure that's a CGI effect too. When it crashes on the planet, it's an actual physical model, but the part in space, I'm pretty sure that was a CGI model, and it looks it looks better than the CGI Enterprise D in the new show from like a year ago. I don't understand. It makes no sense, like how it looks better on old crappier computers. It just blows my brain. I don't understand, and I don't know if I ever will, but it's always on my mind. Look at the Brontosaurus in the 19... Yeah, I do feel like the first time when you see the... I want to call it a Brachiosaurus, but that you can tell it's a CGI effect. So there are like CGI effects even in Jurassic Park that stand out, but the T-Rex doesn't. The T-Rex is... I don't know, they nailed that somehow. I'd say the Balrog in Lord of the Rings... Actually, Lord of the Rings is a great example of movies that have like both flawless CGI and CGI that stands out so much. Like, it's really inconsistent in that movie. It's like, how did you nail the Balrog? But like, the cave troll to me is so obviously like a CGI effect in the same movie. And like, almost like, that's in the scene right after or right before the Balrog too. Like, how did you like nail it just 5 minutes later? I mean, those scenes were probably made further apart from each other, but yeah, it's really weird how, like, even in the same movie, like, a CGI effect could be done so well, and then literally 5 minutes later, there's a CGI effect that really stands out. It's weird. I don't know, but, let's see, yeah. Mr. Y-Wing guy is heading out. Yeah, I'm probably going to head out in just a few minutes. I think I'm losing it. I'm really tired. I was up before the sun came up today, so I'm really out of it. Does anyone else miss 2D animations in films? Yeah, I miss a lot of old cartoons. It looks like it's becoming a lost art. Like, just a lot, like, especially I know computers were used in it, but I really like the Atlantis movie from, I think it's 2001. That one's really cool. Even though I know they used computer animation in that one, but did my webcam die? I don't know. I think it just froze for a second there. Looking at myself in the webcam. I look so tired. I'm gonna have to finish this Arwing another time. All right. Yeah, I think I'll answer one more question, and then I might go take a nap because I'm really tired. Say, hey boss, played one of the versions of this a while back and loved it. I'll give the newest version a try soon. Hopefully I'll have the next version ready sometime in June or July. I'm almost done with all the Soria levels, and when I finish them, I'm gonna release everything I finished. And I think that'll be in June or July. Watch, it'll end up being like November, but... See, Atlantis and Treasure Planet were perfect films. Yeah, I love the Atlantis movie. I haven't seen Treasure Planet since it came out in the theater, so my memory of it is really kind of gone, but I'll definitely watch it again someday. I have a Treasure Planet video game installed that I've been really wanting to play, and when I play that, that'll probably be what finally gets me to watch the movie again. But yeah, the Atlantis movie is actually probably my favorite Disney-made movie is the Atlantis movie. I don't know if that's a hot take or not, but that movie's actually really good. I'm kind of baffled that it got panned so badly when it came out. I understand why it didn't make a lot of money because it had a bloated budget, so obviously it wasn't going to make all the money in the world, but the reception to it, I'm kind of... And I remember when it came out, I remember liking it too. I remember I went to see it like with all my extended family, and I remember us thinking the movie was like really cool back when it came out. So I was kind of surprised to find out years later that no one seemed to like it and it was a giant bomb. I'm like, really? That movie? Like that movie, all the critics hated it and it didn't make it... What? Really? I have some critiques of the movie. I feel like the first act of the movie is extremely rushed. It kind of feels like they get on the sub, and then just like a few minutes later, oh, the sub and everyone on it's dead, and they're at Atlantis now. Like, I feel like that happens really fast. I feel like they could have used another 10 to 15 minutes of them on the submarine. That's really my only critique of the movie, is like the movie feels like it should happen over a longer period of time, but it feels like it happens in the span of like 25 hours. That's really my only critique of that movie, is they should have done more to make it feel like it happens over a longer period of time. And I think I'm repeating myself now. Alexander Kane, you've done amazing with Star Fox Event Horizon so far. I'm excited to see what you and your team pull out next. Thank you so much. I'm really excited too. I'm glad people like it. I seem to be doing a better job than my Zelda game, so that makes me happy. I'm almost done with Soria, and then I'll be moving into the Star Fox 2 stuff. I'm really excited about that, because I'm really excited that Faye is joining the team, and I'm really happy to get back out in space. Like, I love Soria. It's probably my favorite part of the Star Fox setting, but I'm honestly really tired of working on the actual, like, Soria levels, and I kind of miss being in space. I was really happy to work on the last level where you're finally back in the Arwing and you actually go out into space to fight Shears. That was a lot of fun to make. I'm like, yeah, I'm finally in space again. So I'm kind of excited that I finally get to do more space stuff again. You have disturbed the dirt. The movie was pretty rushed overall. What was Atlantis rushed? I know the movie went over budget and there was a bit of drama, but I don't remember if they said they were rushed. I wouldn't be surprised if it was. Unless you just mean the movie feels like it's rushed over a short period of time, which I agree completely. It feels like the time he gets on the sub and the end of the movie is like less than 2 days. But all the stuff that happens in the movie, it really feels like stuff that would happen over like a few weeks or several months. At least to me. See, I'm curious to see what models come out of the Star Fox 2 design. Well, here's half of a model right here from one of the Star Fox 2 designs. The Salvadora I technically already modeled, but I'm probably going to remodel it. So the Salvadora is a Star Fox 2 model. That'll be coming out of it. What else from Star Fox 2? A few of the bosses, probably. There's going to be a lot of walkers. So there will still be ground levels, but there's a lot more Arwing levels too. So, see, Kuro Getsune. Tarzan was a great one too. Tarzan's also a movie I haven't seen since it came out in theaters. I have no idea what I'd think of that one if I saw it again. I remember not hating that movie when I first saw it, but I don't remember it really standing out to me in the same way that Atlantis did. And Treasure, I have a feeling I will really like Treasure Planet when I see it again. But I don't remember what I thought of that one when I first saw it. But Atlantis is a good movie. I'm sad that movie doesn't have a good legacy. But hey, maybe that's a good thing, because it'll never get one of those lame live action reboots, because it was so Disney thought it was so lame. So you should model the Mirage Dragon, the coolest bot. Yeah, I'm pretty sure the Mirage Dragon is on my to-do list. The Mecha Dodora is on my to-do list, because I already did the Monarch Dodora and the Lilat Wars. So the mech version is probably going to show up in the next part. Let's see if there's any more questions. I'm probably going to go in like a minute. I'm struggling to keep my eyes open. See, also the way you make ship crashes is great. Yeah, that was something that was possible in the engine the whole time, and I kind of just delayed on properly implementing in the engine, and it ended up being really simple. But yeah, now all the ships, if gravity is set to on, any ship will now it'll now fall down with gravity and crash. I experimented with it several years ago when I made the Venom level where you fight Andross. I experimented with gravity then, and then I kind of just put it off for a few years. But yeah, now all the ships they'll properly crash. I added all the gravity values to every ship in the game about 2 weeks ago. Have a good night, bro. Thank you. Even though it's only 2 o'clock in the afternoon here, but I was up so early that I feel like it's 10 at night. Any other last minute questions, or should I head out now? Thankfully I had a really wonderful breakfast, so I'm not starving right now like I usually am when I do these streams. Alright, I'm not really seeing any questions, so I think that's probably my cue to get off. I will try and do some more of these dev streams, and I'll try and have Estelle hop in. I'll see what she thought of them. This dev stream was her idea, and I think it went well. I actually think I got quite a bit of this model done before she left, since I didn't have to, like, look back and forth between the chat and working on it. I think, because this is twice now I've worked on models while I had to look at the chat, and I've come to the conclusion I can't work on 3D models and look at the chat at the same time. It's just, I can't multitask like that. So I need someone to, like, keep track of the chat while I'm doing the work. So, also see, I don't know, I kind of like the idea of the James Bond watch stream too. I think that would be pretty funny, because about 2 months ago I kind of I got the idea in my mind of actually going through all the James Bond movies, because I had watched GoldenEye and I had so much fun watching that movie. I was like, you know what, I think I'm gonna just go through all the James Bond movies, and of course I haven't done it yet, so that might be fun to do 1 or 2 of those with Estelle and kind of see what the reactions are. Maybe we'll start with Dr. No and, you know, go through Sean Connery. I don't know. It depends. Her and I are so busy that I don't think we'll be able to do all of them. We'll probably do like 1, but that sounded like a fun idea. But don't forget to watch the Minecraft movie. I'll probably watch it someday. I don't know. I haven't gone to a movie theater since COVID. I really should go watch a movie at the movie theater for old time's sake. I'm not really interested in Minecraft, but I'll probably see it one day just because, I don't know. I'll just probably see it one day. Okay, Gagnatar, you said yo. Yo about what? Are you even trying to get my attention? Did I miss something you said? Seems you understand the gravity of the situation. What'd I miss? What'd I miss, Gagnatar? Alright, well, you just tell me on Discord what you meant. But, I'm gonna get off now, so let me find the end stream button. Where is it? I seriously, when I was about to start the live stream, I couldn't find the go live button, and I was telling Estelle, I'm like, I've turned into you. I can't find the button to start the thing. There it is. I found it. There's the end stream button. Alright, everyone. Bye-bye. I'll probably do a stream shortly after I get those little model samples, and I'll go into details about that. Those are going to be a really cool patron reward for everyone. And yeah, see you guys next time. Bye-bye.